return to school, we're actually the second educators in your children's life because you are the first teachers. And we want to work in partnership with all of you because we can't do this work alone.
Que su voz cuenta y que si nos unimos podemos lograr grandes cosas para nuestros hijos.
I love the diversity of the school district. Whether you know it or not, this district speaks 83 different languages.
To know that the administrative offices, they have my back. Not only my back, but they have my child's back.
Every child, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of income, regardless of need, every child deserves to have their needs met.
No one person can do it alone. The teachers can't do it alone. Administration cannot do it alone. It's going to take the parents, the community.
I'm very thankful for the partnerships that we have with our communities in both cities that represent our school district. We always ask the question, how can we even do this better? And I think that's where community schools come in because that takes us to the next level.
All right, welcome to the May 16th, 2024 regular Board of Education meeting. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on any non-agenda items. In a moment, we'll be going into closed session where we will discuss any of the following matters: student matters, employer-employee relations, conference with legal counsel, conference with real property negotiators, and personnel matters. Before we get to that, Superintendent, will you call roll?
Yes, Mr. Clark.
Here.
Ms. Larrett.
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Hui.
Here.
All are here.
Thank you. We will allow public comments for closed session items. I do not see any in person. There are none online. In that case, we will be recessing a closed session back at 6 o'clock. All right, welcome back to open session for the May 16th, 2024 regular Board of Education meeting. If you would please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to our agenda item 4C, broadcast statement. Broadcast and recording is being made at the direction of the board, and the broadcast may capture images and sounds of those attending the meeting. Folsom Cordova Unified School District Board Policy 1313 promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among employees, parents, and the public. We will treat staff, parents, and members of the public with respect and ask the same in return. If any member of the public uses obscenities or communicates in a demanding, loud, insulting, or a demeaning manner, the board will calmly and politely admonish the person to communicate civilly. Public comments during board meetings are an important component of public engagement and transparency. Members of the public will not be permitted to yield their speaking time to another member of the public. All written comments submitted by 3 p.m. today to the board have been read. Per the Brown Act, the board is not allowed to enter into a two-way discussion on any matter not on the agenda. That brings us to item D, roll call. Superintendent?
Yes, Mr. Melidor.
Here.
Mr. Merrill.
Here.
Mr. Clark.
Here.
Ms. Larrett.
Here.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Hui.
Here.
All are here.
Thank you. And then to item 5, reporting out closed session. A, reporting out closed session actions. We have nothing to report out of closed session tonight. And that brings us to item 6, adoption of agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move it.
Motion by Mr. Clark.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Melidor. Superintendent?
Mr. Melidor.
Aye.
Mr. Merrill.
Aye.
Ms. Clark.
Aye.
Ms. Larrett.
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse.
Aye.
Mr. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Hui.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And to item 7, special presentations. Item A, students. We'll start with item 1 there. Thank you to student board members Matthew Melchior and Van Merrill.
Thank you. We have lots of students to celebrate tonight. We get to kick it off with our 2 student board members. In appreciation for their role as being part of this governance team, we have a framed certificate of appreciation on behalf of the board and the district. One for Van Merrill, one for Matthew Melchior for being student board member for the 23-24 school year, for outstanding service to the Board of Education, the Student Advisory Board, and the students of the district. And so much is captured in just that little phrase of what the 2 of you have done this year in your leadership. So on behalf of my team and the district, we say thank you for being part of this governance team, for amplifying student voice at this level, but also through Student Advisory Board. I've been at almost all of your meetings this year, and just, again, amplifying student voice from all students participating in Student Advisory Board. And I know you do that back at your sites as well. Really appreciate the work that, and the focus of SAB this year, again, around student-related topics having to do with student mental health, the culture of the school, safety, dress code. And those are big topics that eventually, come to the board in the form of board policies. And I just want you to know that the role and the voice that our students have in our district and how important they are as they come forward to board agenda items is invaluable. And we want to continue to do that. You've been a big piece of making that happen and taking it to the next level. We're excited to hear your presentation tonight, culminating all the work of our SAB this last year. And I don't want to steal any of that thunder, but we just wish you all the very best. Matthew, you are graduating next week, and your next step in life is taking you to
UC San Diego.
Yay, UC San Diego.
Titans.
Well, congratulations on that. I know it's a tough decision to make, but we wish you the best in your next chapter of life. And Van, you have an exciting senior year next year, and I think we're going to hear some exciting news about, I won't steal that thunder either, but congratulations. And we'd like to present these certificates on behalf of the board. Do we want to say some comments first, or do we want to take a picture first?
Yeah, let's do some pictures, and then we'll come back up and further comment.
While we're coming back up, I forgot to mention that we have advisors from each of our high schools that have been part of the SAB. So I want to recognize our assistant principals, Janine Holton from Vista Del Lago, Suzanne Ambrosini from Folsom High School, and Dr. Carrie Jackson from Cordova High School. Thank you for your support and all you do in supporting SAB.
Thank you, Dr. Clegan. And I did want to open it up to the board to express any comments. I think it's actually wonderful. Today is the last board meeting in May. I think both of you are planning on being at least at some of the June meetings. So it's well-deserved that you probably will get several send-offs because you both deserve it, just based on the work that you've done this year. But I would love to, if anybody want to make any comments tonight.
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Clark.
Well, I'll go with Matthew, Board Member Melchior first. I just want to thank you for your leadership, holding things down, both you and Van, during the SAB meetings. I apologize that I couldn't make all of them, but the ones that I did go to, the meetings were, really well ran. You guys got your stuff together. International Night was great, and hopefully that tradition continues. And Van, I know you are a junior, and I know I'll be seeing you frequently at Cordova, and I just wish you the best of luck, and can't wait to hear what good news you have for us.
Both of you are fantastic, first of all. Second of all, my continuance of student board members being my favorite part of being on the school board, you've continued that tradition as well. I truly feel lucky to sit near you guys and hear your voices. I think that you do a fantastic job of bringing everyone's voice to the table, and are more eloquent in your words often than I am. And so I appreciate both of you, and I am super proud of both of you, and I'm very excited to hear about your journeys in San Diego and your good news, man.
I mean, what can you really say about these two? I mean, one thing that's amazing about them is that they really are the voice of the student, and they really do take in all sides, and they process things. And you can tell that oftentimes they might necessarily, even after reading the agenda, haven't really come to a decision. And that really what they hear in the discussion, that they really take it in, and they take it into really careful consideration, and they take things very seriously. And I really appreciate that, because you're kind of our boots on the ground. You're kind of the pulse on what's happening in the schools, because we're not there every single day. And so I always appreciate your perspectives and your thoughtfulness and the eloquence. Again, I think like Kara says, I mean, you guys state things beautifully, and I really appreciate that. And I'm excited for all of your next adventures.
Matthew, congratulations at UC San Diego. What's their mascot? The Triton? Yeah. Anyway, that's really exciting. I remember going off to college. Just enjoy the next 4 years. College is a special time, meeting new friends, exploring different classes and subject matter. You definitely leave college a different person than you enter. And it's very exciting. So I'm a little envious of your next 4 years. So congratulations on that. And yeah, I'm not sure what the news is from Van, but maybe I can think what it might be, but I'll just keep my mouth shut. So thank you both.
Great. Well, I just want to express gratitude as well for both of you. You've led really well. At SAB, here in these meetings, you've certainly shown us how to think thoughtfully and compassionately. And I would say, I think it is a value of this district and this board to, always have the best intentions of students in mind. You guys both certainly lead us in that. So thank you for that, Mr. Meljor. Congratulations. I too am jealous. You get to be in San Diego for a while. That's really exciting news. So very happy for you. And Van, I'm definitely excited to continue seeing you in whatever respect that looks like next year. But thank you both so much. You've set a high standard, and certainly give me a lot of hope for what's in the future for all of us. So thank you. Great. We give him one more hand. All right, so that brings us into item 2 under special presentations, recognition of high school academic accomplishments.
Well, very excited to see our students in the audience tonight and being able to celebrate. We know this is a busy time of year, so some of our students that are probably on the list to be recognized are at other events because they are multitasking and they do many things. But I want to congratulate all the students that are going to be recognized in different categories. I think Ms. Emmington is going to do that. But I also want to thank the families. We know that you are your students' first teacher when they are little ones, and we appreciate the partnership with the school district and all you've done to help be a role model for these young adults and their many accomplishments. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Emmington, who is going to introduce the different categories of accomplishments.
When we thought about all of the different types of achievement that could be represented by these students. It was so vast. It was pages of everything from music and art, and we do athletics. So it was very hard to narrow it down. Otherwise, we would need a much, 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 much bigger room. So you're just getting a slice of the outstanding academic achievement that our students have shown us this year. All right, can I have Dr. Jackson come on up? And Dr. Jackson, do you want to explain these two honors?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So at Cordova High School, we're very proud of our IB program. And so we have a few students that we'll be recognizing tonight. I also want to give a shout out to two of our coordinators, our MYP coordinator, Grace Martinez, who's not here tonight, but Stephanie Poland is our DP coordinator who's here, and she's fantastic. So all of our students go through the IB program, but the diploma program, which is the last 2 years, is where it really kicks in. So to be recognized under IB is pretty exceptional. And so I just am very proud to announce some names tonight. So our diploma recipient from Cordova High School is Jenny Bai. And she's a senior who will be graduating this year. And then for our middle years program, this is 9th and 10th grade, and we have 3 individuals who will be recognized for their personal projects. So we have Violet Freeburn, we have Alexa Graham, and Adeline Wright.
At the end?
Yeah.
You guys can go ahead and sit down, but we'll bring you back up. And I want to mention that Dr. Jackson graduated from an IB school, so she's very familiar with the rigor of the IB program. Does that work? All right. The National Merit Scholarship finalist. These students are quite amazing. They are students that have scored in the top, I'm sorry, now I don't have my notes with me, in the very top percent. And let me call them, Jessica, what's the percentage? 99. The top 1%. Yeah, the top 1% in the entire state. So that's country, nation. Thank you. So these students are exceptional. And I'd like for Mr. Cadenhead and Dr. Moore to come up. And can the Vista students come up and stand on this side? And maybe the Folsom students come up and stand on this side. And tonight is Vistapalooza. So we've got quite a few students who had to make tough decisions. And for whatever reason, they chose Vistapalooza over us. Is that it? Okay. Let's give her a hand. That's hilarious. Okay. All right. Academic decathlon. This has such a spot in my heart. Jessica Mann and Melinda Wilson, if you will come up. And if you have been to an academic decathlon contest, what do you call it? Not a contest, competition. And you have seen these students with their jangly medals, and they just keep adding more and more, and it's so exciting. Yes, that's the sound. I love that sound. I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce your students.
Oh, okay. This year on our primary team, we had Dylan Baldock, Danny Brockman, come on up when I say your name, come on up. Akri Chen, Connor Kusick, Hannah Haig, Karina Limpus, Connor Melanie, Angela Merrill, and Maxine Melendez. They placed first at county, and we went on to state, and we did well in state. We were up against the super decathletes of LA County, but we held our own and it landed in the top 12 or 13, somewhere in there. So, and our alternates that competed this year were Paige Anderson, Tamjid, Sarah, and Snega Pranith, who are not here. If you guys would come on up. And they're my younger crew who, with all my seniors who are graduating, I'm hoping they'll take us to the next level for next year. So, and we're hoping the competition's back at Folsom High next year, so hopefully.
All right, so our team placed third in the county. Our primary team this year is Varsha Pandu, Olivia Cohen, Matthew Hosier, Aishwarya Bondada, Arshia Raman, Christopher Monera, Sophia Silva, Meadow Castaneda, and Aditya Eiley. We also had 7 decathletes who placed as top scoring alternates: Siri Rao, Kapish Kalita, Mahat Danta, Alessandra Segasio, Addie Long, and Ruhi Bindra.
Once you get up there. Can you, just because I love it so much, can you rattle your medals for me? Thank you. All right, the board is gonna come down. You wanna stand up?
Yeah, I think maybe the board will just stand up right here, and then do we want to bring the IB students in too?
IB students, come on up.
Oh, is there? Okay.
You guys are gonna have to squish big time. 2 rows would be wonderful. You're tall, stay in the back. Stay up here, I guess. Give time for the parents in just 1 second. Coming in on this side. Yep, you're good. All right, everybody, Lori. All right, everybody, look up here for me, please. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. One more. Can you see? More. All right. Oh, he's there. Unless you want to move him forward. All right, a couple more. Here we go. Smile, everybody. All right, stay there so that your parents can take pictures too. Parents, come take pictures. Say less. You said everybody say the name of the thing was technology. Technology. And don't forget the ID.
All right.
You guys are amazing.
Yes, you got one more slide. I'm gonna take this. Thank you. You take it.
Michelle is taking over. Thank you. It's been a busy day.
All right, our vowels, okay. Hayden has them. Got two? Okay. All right. Dr. Moore, come on up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if they're here, come on up.
Yeah, if you're here, come on up.
If you're one of our valedictorians, come on up.
Then
Matthew.
we'll call names.
Where's Russia?
They're very busy. All right, so we are excited. There you go. We have a strong group of valedictorians at Folsom High School this year, and one of them are here. The rest of them are studying for AP tests probably, and finals, et cetera. So tonight we have Angela Merrill with us.
We have a very large list of valedictorians at Vista this year, our most ever. We have 25 students being recognized with this honor. 2 of them are here this evening with you, our own board member Matthew and Varsha. So thank you.
And we have our one ultimate valedictorian, Shania Sobey, is here.
In a little bit more. Pretty smile.
All right, that is actually it for sure.
All right, well, thank you so much. And to the students as you're on your way out, just want to say congrats. We know that you've done an amazing job, but studying isn't the only thing you do. You're involved in lots of activities, so really impressive and proud of all of you for all the work. Thank you. All right, that brings us into item 7, special presentations. B, staff, recognition of special education intern teachers. Dr. Clegan?
Yes, we're also excited this evening to be recognizing our special education intern teachers that are part of a program that we started, I think 2 years ago, to help grow our own future teachers of special education. And we have some of them here with us this evening. Betty Jo Wessinger, who had to present in another meeting, wanted me to make sure that I conveyed her thanks and appreciation for those that have stepped up to the challenge and wishes you very well. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Joni Cunningham, who's going to introduce each one of you and will recognize you and then take a picture as well.
Thank you, Dr. Clegan, and good evening, board and everyone. I am Joni Cunningham. I'm the coordinator of new teacher support and development with Folsom Cordova, and I get to work with a talented group of TOSAs, which are teachers on special assignment, and we support every new teacher in our district. With over 150 new teachers just this year alone, we've been helping to help retain and retain teachers in our own district and set them up for success from the beginning. Through this, we've had the honor of working with a variety of teachers through a variety of credentialing pathways. As you are probably very well aware, through the years, we have had quite a bit of teacher shortages, especially in the special education department. So instead of admiring the problem, our district got creative, and we partnered with our local consortiums, including Yolo County and Sacramento County Office of Education, and we began to problem solve. We partnered with them to build our capacity to grow our own teachers and within their program, with their programs and within our schools amongst our veteran staff to support. They get the opportunity to learn, reflect, and grow their craft each and every day, all while getting paid. And rigorous coursework is required. This is no easy task, but there are layered supports throughout to ensure their successes. Tonight, we want to recognize seven candidates who specifically worked through the Sacramento County Office of Education's intern program on their special education credential, mild to moderate support needs. These interns worked in classrooms in Folsom, Cordova this year, representing elementary, middle, and high school students and staff throughout. We're grateful to their mentors and school site staff as well, who've helped guide them along their journey. Pending final completion of their requirements, here are the interns that will be recommended for their preliminary credential in May. And the song will still sing. We have 7 candidates and a lot of events that have been competing tonight. So I think, and I'm praying, that I have two. Did they come? Did they come on up, Loving? Both are gonna come up. All right, they're just gonna come right here. Flank me. Okay. I want to present to you Nicole Lipscomb. And Nicole is from Cordova Gardens Elementary School. That's where I started. It all happened. It's a great place. Nicole is known for being a great collaborator, contributor, team player, and an inspiration to her colleagues. Susan Reinsch. Susan is at Mills Middle School. And Susan is known for her strong PBIS involvement, also for going above and beyond in your Mustang walks every day, and observing and connecting with colleagues while advocating for students. Now, fun facts. You ready for this? All right. You can be even more impressed as Nicole and Susan both started with Folsom Cordova Unified School District as instructional assistants in the classrooms. Nicole was six and a half years as an instructional assistant at Cordova Gardens. Guess where she is now? It's pretty exciting. And Susan, 11 years at Mitchell Middle School. So they were outstanding enough to be noticed and encouraged along the way. And we're lucky enough to be able to help expand their learning experiences to become classroom teachers. So with that, I really want to give you a great round of applause and thank you guys so very much. We have a certificate for you. I'm sorry, did I give you two? No. It's sneaking here at the bottom. There you are, my dear. Thank you so very much. And if you just stay, because for just a few moments, we also would be remiss if we did not recognize our other candidates. So I'd love to read their names. As you see, we have them here. But congratulations also to Carly Lacara at Vista del Lago, Joseph Sung from Williamson, Tammy Pike from Mather Heights, Laura Fisher from Cordova Meadows, and Joshua Eck from Prospect Community Day School. Please note these teachers will be respectfully returning to their assignments as teacher of record, Probe Zero employees. This is very exciting. And we need to recognize the Board of Education, along with our executive cabinet, for really going above and beyond to encourage and support options for growth and other pathways for our current and our future employees within Folsom Cordova. So congratulations again, and thank you for everybody. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
I would just say congratulations, a wonderful story of pouring back into the community and sticking with it. So really excited for both of you and what's ahead. We would love to come take a picture if that's okay with you. All right, that's the best way to get our steps in. So thank you all for those presentations, really fun. Brings us to item 8, public comment. Time will be given to speakers at the discretion of the board chairperson. The law allows for the public to address the board on any matter not on the agenda, but the law prohibits action by the board on non-agenda items. So we will start public comment with Angela Merrill, followed by Earl Smith.
Hello, I received a perfect score of 1,000 points for my speech at Academic Decathlon State, and I wanted to share my speech with you all, and it's about 4 minutes, and I want to assure you that names have been changed for privacy reasons. When you hear that a student was suspended for threatening the principal's life, what comes to your mind? Probably a tall teenager, a leather jacket. His face is marred with bruises and a scowl, and he skips school on the daily. The last thing that would come to your mind would be a 4'9", straight A's teacher's pet. With hair pulled into neat braids and dozens of books devoured weekly, I was a 5th grade suspendee. It all started with the new principal, Miss Georgia. The day that she arrived, she vowed, "I will work to improve this school, and I cannot wait to get to know each and every one of you." I, being 10 years old and not yet jaded by politicians, believed her, and I happily greeted her every time we passed in the hallways, except, to my dismay, even by October, recognition never flashed behind her eyes, and she didn't even know my name. So getting to know us wasn't on her priority list at all. So what else had she lied about? She wasn't improving the school. If anything, it was getting worse. The continued lack of bathroom supplies, the non-existent or non-functional water fountains, the cancellation of our annual international night. Miss Georgia was the villain who had orchestrated all of these issues. So I snapped. I wrote my list of grievances and I emailed it anonymously. Except, here is where I made my fatal mistake. You see, in 2016, America was haunted by clowns. Numerous allegations of these villainous clowns swept the nations. So, to add weight behind my words, I signed off with P.S. I hope the clowns get you! Next day, Miss Georgia pulled me out of class, steaming mad, but suddenly she knew my name. "Angela, how could you do this? Angela, what would your father think? Angela, I expected better from you." It had turned out that the clowns were said to have killed people, but I hadn't known that, and I didn't want her to die. I just wanted her to take me seriously. Miserably sitting at home that day, something in me died. To protest, to speak out, meant being ignored or punished, so I didn't rock the boat. For years, I avoided sending emails and I stuck steadfast to the most trivial rules. You might call this accountability, but really it was just a paralyzing anxiety. Did I deserve this trauma for a sentence that I didn't even mean? I admit, even mentioning non-lethal clowns was a bad idea, but I was 10, and kids make mistakes. It was a missed opportunity to build a dialogue and solve the problems that only the students could see. Children don't act out, they react. So don't dismiss them. Make sure that they know that their perspectives are just as valid as any adults. These days, I'm regaining my voice. I email my principal and my council members every inequity that I can find, but my tone is sickeningly sweet, and as such, the worst thing that they can do is say that nothing's going to change. Speak up. Your principal, your manager, your council member, they don't have the view that you do. If something is fundamentally wrong, tell the people who can change something. After all, it's America, the land of free speech. What's the worst thing that they can do? Suspend you?
Thank you, Angela. All right, Earl Smith, followed by Laureen Pryor.
I don't know if you noticed, but there was no paper up here. I was memorized. Wow, that's awesome. Earl Smith, once again, the board, thank you for hearing me, Dr. Collegian, Assistant Superintendents. I came here today to follow up from last week. I met with Dr. Peace, who's pretty awesome. With Monday, I met with her. Tuesday, she had a whole list of answers to questions that I've been trying to get answers to for 2 years. So it speaks to how amazing she is. Sunday, Miss Williams emailed Faith that she's going to deny her again from the jazz choir for next year's school year. And ironically, with the academic decathlon here, I wanted to bring the attention to the board. I've tried to speak with Principal Cadenhead about this. I had the question for Dr. Huber. 2 times we had met, and he's extremely kind. But the question was, is Principal Cadenhead says that the jazz choir and the jazz band is the same as the football team. Now, I went through college on a full ride track scholarship, so I was an athlete. Yet the jazz choir is a class. So I dig through the ed code, and I found it. I wanted to bring the attention to the board of the California Ed Code 35160.5. Under section 1, it defines the purpose of this section of extracurricular activity and what it means. Below it, on number 2, it further defines it, but on number 3, it defines it as co-curricular. So for instance, the academic decathlon is a co-curricular. There's a class that the students are in, they meet after class, and they compete to represent the school. Below that, it says, a teacher graded or required program or activity for a course that satisfies entry requirements for admission to California State University or the University of California is not an extracurricular or co-curricular activity as defined by the section. And then it later defines it. Jazz choir and jazz band happens during school time at Folsom High School. The kids get a grade, but yet it's being treated as an extracurricular. And based on that, students are being denied without giving explanation or a pathway of how to be in the class. There's a lot of videos online, and on the videos online, you see mostly one demographic. Most Black kids can't afford private lessons like I've been able to pay for my daughter. So I'm asking the board, this has been an issue that I found back in 2013. There was an article by the Gold Something about the same issue. This has been an issue that's been going on a long time. So I'm asking the board, I'm asking Mr. Reed, since you represent my district, I'm gonna send you an email. With Principal Cadenhead, he refuses to talk. I'm ending right here. He refuses to talk. So I'm asking for some assistance to help to get through this concept so that the district is in compliance for the best interest of the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Laureen Pryor. Welcome, Ms. Pryor.
Hello there. First of all, I just wanted to drop by, and I know that I'm probably going to talk about something that's on your agenda, the land acknowledgement. I was appalled by the video I was sent about some comments that were made. What I would like to remind the board is that you are elected representatives. That means you are supposed to be, or you are responsible to talk to your constituents in your area, not the ones you like, but all of them, and to hear them out, hear their concerns, and to respond in kind. I think that it was absolutely not the best light to put yourselves in, to have a conversation about something really that doesn't have anything to do with you. Acknowledging that this land belonged to somebody else is the least we can do. To add on to, and I heard the comments to say, well, we're not going far enough. I look forward to that resolution going further. We cannot continue to put our personal ideology out on the whole community. And so I'm asking you, when you listen to the folks that are going to come forward, that you listen with an open mind, because you are a servant of the people do not serve you. And so I wanted to come and just kind of make that clear to the parent that just went and sat down. Sir, you need to contact me. I'll come over to Folsom High School with you, if that's where he's going. Is that where he's at? Is that what he said? Because students shouldn't be denied if they want to participate. You guys are a public school. You shouldn't be denying anybody. And so I find that really egregious. And so I look forward to speaking with that parent. I want you to know that just because you don't see me all the time does not mean I'm not around. I will always come and flip tables for our babies when necessary. And as someone who has Native blood in her body, I found it offensive. And I know that your jobs are to serve. And so how do we serve and make sure that we're not putting our personal ideology on the table? So I just wanted to leave you with that. Yeah. Happy retirement. Hopefully we'll do lunch before you get out of here, yes? Yeah. All right, perfect.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. All right. Those are all the in-person cards I have. Looks like we have no online comments. So that'll end item 8, public comment. Thank you for all the comments. Moves us to item 9, reports of district organizations. We'll start with the Student Advisory Board.
Yes, so tonight we actually have a special presentation made for the board. We're gonna kind of highlight everything that we have done this year. We have some student speakers with us. So if they can come on up to the podium, and then we'll present the slides. Feels different being down here. All right, so good evening, everyone, community members, parents, family, students. We are the Student Advisory Board, and this is a presentation about the recap just of everything that we've been doing over the course of the 2023-2024 school year. So I'm joined with the van, and then if the speakers want to introduce their grade and the school that they go to and their name.
I'm Mia George, and I go to Folsom High School.
I'm Haley McCann. I go to Folsom High.
I'm Mina Kanepan, and I go to Folsom High too.
So a lot of Folsom High reps, but we do have more. So we represent all secondary schools in Folsom, Cordova. Okay, yeah, so we represent all secondary schools in Folsom, Cordova, both Folsom and Rancho Cordova. We represent all the middle schools and high schools, but as a whole, me and Van, we represent all the 20,000 students in FCUSD, which continues to grow.
Yeah. Okay, so a little introduction into SAB. We're a group of secondary students in the 7 schools, so it's the, I think 4 middle schools and 3 high schools. We meet monthly and we talk about things like student equity, dress code, quality of education, and student culture. And yeah, the SAB intends to foster an equitable environment throughout all FCUSD sites for students. And
So our goals are to pinpoint prevalent issues facing students throughout our district and develop solutions to solve them. And then our other goal is to ensure equitable school sites and classrooms for every single FCUSD student. And then finally is to empower, which just means students get to advocate for change in their own schools and have their voice heard in all of these meetings.
There were countless aspects we focused on in SAB this year. We collaborated in many subcommittees discussing a range of topics from school lunch to dress code to school climate and culture. We also worked on improving wellness for students. There were many presentations about the compassionate system and kindness in our daily lives. We discussed different situations involving students, including Cordova High's fencing. SAB publicized the 20-day attendance challenge in January and planned FCUSD's second annual international night, which was a big success. We also focused on solidarity. In September, many of us SAB members did not know each other. But by May, many created strong connections and friendships. We have and will continue to welcome students to voice their concerns and opinions, and will continue to promote SAB.
Now, one of the things that SAB does is plan events, and one of our magnum opus events was the International Night, April 30th, held at the CHS PAC. We have some photos here taken by our amazing photographers at Cordova High. A brief overview of International Night, if you guys don't know what it is already. It's a night of cultural performances, cultural booths, local food trucks, and it's an opportunity for students to earn their volunteer hours. It kind of showcases our district's diversity and our inclusivity, our amazing inclusivity. We had 19 amazing performances from countries including but not limited to the Philippines, India, Armenia, Korea, Latin America, the Pacific Islands, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Mexico. As you can see, here's a few more pictures. We had over 50 volunteers, which made setting up and tearing down amazing and a lot less stressful on mine and Matthew's backs. I'd like to thank CSF, especially we had a lot of CSF volunteers from across the district, from Folsom, Vista, and Cordova High. And we had 7 amazing culture booths from students all around the district as well. So you could see a few up there. You could see a few at the top up there and at the bottom left. Overall, it was a major success. If you didn't make it this year, then come out next year. It'll be around the same time. We don't have the dates down exactly, but that's our first priority next year as SAB. We will 100% be keeping this up as a tradition because of just how amazing it is.
Yeah, and as Van talked about, this is kind of a recurring tradition that board members Ria and board member Rocio started last year, and we plan to continue this in the coming years because it really brings the district together through unity and solidarity with students, faculty, and community members. And so some of our other next steps is that for the 2024-2025 school year, we did have applications open in the previous month, and we're pleased to share that we have over 60 students from all secondary schools in FCUSD who are slotted to be in SAB next year, which is a massive, massive increase from this year. I believe we had 40 this year. So it makes me really confident that students will continue to be represented. And then jumping to future projects, like I said, we're hoping that we can continue FCUSD's International Night for its 3rd iteration. We plan to collaborate again to bring back the 20-day attendance challenge. It was pretty effective. And hopefully this year we can collaborate with more local community organizations to really get these students in touch with their communities and kind of build solidarity within and outside of their schools. And I'm pleased to share as well that we had, 2 weeks ago, we did have our SAB elections. And if you don't know, this is a really great opportunity for our students to elect the student board members who represent 20,000 students across the district. So it is not an easy role, to say the least. And there is one student elected from Folsom and one student elected from Rancho Cordova. And then the students from, students can only vote for the city that which they go to school in. So Folsom students vote for their Folsom rep, and Rancho Cordova students vote for their rep as well. And I'm pleased to share that we have a new student board member who will be representing Folsom right here, board member Mia George. So, as well as I'm pleased to share that board member Merrill will be continuing to represent next year. He has won re-election. So I'm pretty confident that these two individuals, they will continue to represent the students well. I've worked with them closely. SAB has, they are not an unknown face to SAB or the advisors. So if the board wants to get a quick picture with SAB, the new reps, then we can. Right? Yeah.
One with everyone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll do one with everyone. And then the advisors too.
Hey there. Nothing?
Thank you. We have one more slide.
Questions?
I know. Well, we need to have this slide up.
That's true.
We will be open to any questions you guys have or comments.
Comments, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. I know you're reaching out to like the middle school students, but what about those fifth graders that are transitioning into middle school? Is there a plan to reach out to them to see if there's any involvement?
So next year, I'd like to get more involvement with those fifth graders. Maybe go to a couple of sites with the SAB, with the advisors and the board members, and kind of talk about like what the next steps are. And it could be a presentation about middle school in general, and we can just throw that in there, kind of get them used to SAB. That's something that I was planning for next year.
Perfect.
Idea out there.
Any other questions or comments?
Just congratulations, Van, and congratulations, Mia. Look forward to working with you.
Yeah, thanks again for all your work and all this for both of you. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, next report is from the California School Employees Association.
What was the part where I feel like passing out? Hello, board members and Dr. Collegian. First of all, thank you, Angela Griffin and her team, for putting on a great celebration for the staff of FCUSD. We had a great turnout by all bargaining groups, and I, for one, enjoyed the event. Next week, the celebration continues, kicking off this Sunday at Lou Howard Park, where CSEA will be celebrating with their fellow members and families Classified School Employee Week, which continues all week long. Wednesday, the 22nd, we will have our last chapter meeting of the year. That's not true. We've got emergency one scheduled next month. But MOUs 19 and 11 will go up for ratification. We as classified staff would also like to thank the district for presenting and implementing an out-of-the-box bridge or Band-Aid for the next year's increase in benefits. It is greatly appreciated. It has been a productive and collaborative year in bargaining that has made going to the table much easier and enjoyable. By working together, we have overcome and solved many difficult issues. Thank you, district negotiating team. As we are in the business of educating and molding young minds to lead us, it is important to educate and grow ourselves. Change and understanding the needs of others is part of that. Classified school employees are in support of the land acknowledgement statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Folsom Cordova Education Association.
Good evening, everybody. Board, FCUSD administrators, teachers, community members, and guests. First, I want to give a shout out to the employees recognition team that set up the event. It was a fabulous time, and we have had positive feedback from our members. So thank you for the hard work. You are very much appreciated. Not here. Secondly, a big congratulations to the benefits team for their Herculean efforts to roll out the new benefits program. I know that we are just in the beginning steps, but they have worked tirelessly to make all of us more informed and to support more than 2,000 employees with only 3 staff members in conjunction with the Human Resource Department as well. This week, FCA had their last rep council where we recognized 2 reps for their outstanding work at their site. Christina Abishar from Russell Ranch, and Elisa Smith from Innovations. FCA has faced many new hurdles, and all the reps from each side have made a difference this year. On a personal note, I want to publicly thank Tracy Suter for being there with me. But more importantly for our members, she is a hound dog for facts during bargaining, but has lent a shoulder for members as well. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Sorry. As we move to the summer, I wish for all to have a restful break for those who return to us in August, but a well-wished and warm thank you for those permanent summer breakers. Your wisdom and guidance will be missed. Congratulations and enjoy your next adventure. Thank you.
Thank you. Folsom Cordova Leadership Association.
Good evening, Dr. Kaligian, President Huey, members of the board, and distinguished colleagues and guests. First, I'm delighted to announce the results of the FCLA election for next year's members for the Folsom Cordova Leadership Association. The following individuals have been elected to serve on the board. For President, Kanan Peterson, Principal of Mangini Ranch Elementary. President-elect Keith Shields, Assistant Principal at Mills Middle School. I'm going to be the past president. Did you notice the smile? I'm just kidding. Vice President is going to be Leslie Cottrell from Williamson Elementary, the principal there. Our Ledge Actions are going to continue to be Kate Hazarian, Director of Strategic Initiatives and Support Services. Secretary is going to be Dr. Sandra Garcia, Principal of Mitchell Middle School. Treasurer will continue to be Elena Cabrera, Director of Categorical Programs. And we had one of three confer positions that was available for re-election, and that was Dana Kerrigan, Principal at Mills Middle School. So please join me in extending our heartfelt congratulations to these esteemed individuals on their successful election for the FCLA board. Their dedication, experience, and passion for our leadership team will undoubtedly strengthen our organization and contribute to our ongoing success. Secondly, on August 24th, when I took over as president, I shared with the board how I was honored and humbled to serve as FCLA board for this year. I shared a note from the greeting that I sent to our new administrators, which stated, "You may not know it, but yes, you have joined one of the greatest leadership teams and districts in our area. FCUSD is not a location. It is about people we serve, the community we support, and the families we are. Welcome. We look forward to learning, professionally growing, and sharing our leadership expertise with you." You might ask, what makes us experts? Our 118 leaders are made up of classified, certificated, and confidential managers. Collectively, we have over 2,000 years of experience. We have 81 administrative credentials, 54 master's degrees, 10 EDDs. Currently, there are 4 of the 7 board members are products of FCUSD. This year, we soared to new heights. Our FCLA membership to AXA increased by 65 out of 118 from 53. Our FCLA membership grew to 95 members out of 118. 5 members were recognized by AXA Region 3 as Administrators of the Year, and 1 as the Middle School Administrator of the Year for the state of California. Leadership is not merely about holding a title or occupying a position of authority. True leadership transcends formal roles and are rooted in the commitment to service, integrity, and responsibility. It's about inspiring others, fostering positive change, and leaving a lasting impact on our community. We are entrusted with the vital task of shaping the educational landscape of our district. Uncle Ben from Spider-Man taught us, with leadership comes great responsibility. A responsibility that lead with integrity, humility, and compassion. We must remember that leadership is not about advancing our own agendas or seeking personal glory. Rather, it's about serving the greater good and lifting others up along the way. Let us embrace the privilege and responsibility of leadership with humility and dedication. Let us strive to be stewards of our positions, guided by the principles of service, integrity, and compassion. And let us work together to create a school community where every individual has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. I guess you can say that part of my job is to brag about our leadership team, to remind this board that our community to trust us and our community to trust us and our leadership team, that each of us are working for the betterment of our students, communities, and families. We look forward to the board's support as we conclude this year and prepare for the class of 2024 graduation, as well as bid farewell to our superintendent, Dr. Kaligian. Thirdly, Sarah, reflecting on the journey of our district and the remarkable progress we've made in the past 7 years, there's one individual whose presence looms largely in our collective memory. That person who changed the very landscape of our educational community. You have been, I blame her. You have been the architect of our transformation. I find myself at a loss for words adequate to convey the depth of gratitude. Your tireless dedication, visionary leadership, and unwavering commitment to excellence have left an invaluable mark on each and every one of us. You didn't merely lead, you inspired. Through your passion, your innovation, and your boundless energy, you ignited a spark within our district, a spark that has ignited a fire of enthusiasm for learning, growing, and progress. Your vision was not confined to the present, but extended far into the future, envisioning possibilities for others that could scarcely be imagined. You challenged us to dream bigger, reach higher, and strive for greatness in everything we do. Perhaps even more than your vision, it was your compassion that truly set you apart. You saw each member of our community not as a statistics or as a data point, but as a person worthy of dignity, respect, and opportunity. You listened with an open heart, you embraced with open arms, and you uplifted with unwavering support. The impact of your leadership is evident in every corner of our district, in the classrooms where students are inspired to discover their passions, in the hallways where teachers collaborate to innovate and excel, and in the hearts of all of who have had the privilege to work with you and alongside you. So today, on behalf of FCLA, as I pause to express our gratitude, know that our words can never fully capture the depth of our appreciation. You have touched our lives in ways that words alone cannot express, and for that, we are eternally grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maroon. And last, District English Learner Advisory Committee.
No report this evening.
Thank you. All right, on to item 10, agenda consent.
Mr. President, sorry to interrupt. Did we do online public comments? I'm just curious.
There were no online public comments tonight.
There weren't any? Okay, just wanted to make sure I had received the message that there was one.
Okay. So that item is passed. At the time where the public comment was happening, we had none online. So item 10, agenda consent. Is there any item a board member would like to pull off of agenda consent? If there are none, if I could have a motion to approve the agenda consent?
I'll motion.
Motion by Ms. Lofthouse. Is there a second?
I'll second. I'll second.
Second by Mr. Merrill. Superintendent.
Mr. Mellinger?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, to item 11 then, public hearing. I'm gonna gavel into our public hearing.
Oh, may I make some
Oh,
introductions
of
before we
course,
move on?
every time. Yeah, thank you.
That's okay. As one of the action items the board approved in the consent items was the approval of the personnel action form. And in that report, we had three folks that were in new administrative positions, either new to our district or new in their role in the district. So I'd like to just take a moment and recognize those folks. First, we want to recognize Linda Thurlow. Executive Director of Administrative Services. Congratulations. She has been in an interim role for the last 8 months as interim executive director, overseeing the operations of the district's Human Resources and Fiscal Services Department. A team member on Folsom, Cordova for the last 16 years, Ms. Thurlow has also been the Director of Fiscal Services, Fiscal Support Manager, Fiscal Analyst for the Fiscal Services Department, and Personnel Analyst for the Human Resources Department. She is excited to be continuing her role as Executive Director of Administrative Services, and when not at work, when I'm not sure when that is, Linda, with all those responsibilities, she loves spending time with her family. Congratulations, Linda.
Thank you. I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Next, I'm very excited to introduce to you, I think virtually online, we have our new principal from Russell Ranch Elementary, Miss Megan Schooler, joining us. Congratulations, Megan. She is coming to us with 21 years of experience in education. Ms. Schooler most recently served as the principal at Top of the World Elementary School in Southern California. She's passionate about creating supportive learning environments where students thrive and stakeholders collaborate to support the whole child. She says she's honored and excited to join the dedicated team at Russell Ranch as we cultivate a culture of excellence and innovation. Her philosophy centers on fostering creativity, curiosity, and a growth mindset where building a culture of care and kindness happens daily. Please join us in welcoming Ms. Schooler to Team FCUSD as we embark on a journey of growth and achievement through collaboration and unwavering commitment to all Mustang students and families. Congratulations, Megan, and did you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Dr. Cooligan, and also thank you, President Board Hui, and board members. I am so excited. I wish I could be there in person to actually see faces and meet people after the meeting, but I'm sure I will have plenty of opportunity for that in the coming years. So I just wanted to say I'm really excited to be returning. It's my hometown area. I grew up in Orangevale. I was the San Juan Unified School District, but really eager to get back up there and get to be a part of the community. So thank you. I really am honored.
Congratulations again. And lastly, it's my honor to introduce our new Vista Del Lago varsity boys basketball coach, Mr. Joshua Gould. Since 2011, Coach Gould has been working in the basketball arena, first as an intern with the Golden State Warriors, then as an assistant varsity coach at Gunn High School in Palo Alto, and most recently as the head varsity coach at San Mateo High School. In addition to his extensive knowledge of the sport, he creates practices that provide skill building and team building while creating a fun environment. His positive approach to coaching encourages all to do their best, meeting each player at their skill level to maximize their potential, and all players on his team are valuable members and contribute to the team's success. So welcome to Team FCUSD, Coach Gould.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I just want to point out to the board, and thank you for that introduction, a lot of kind words. The support that I've received since getting the job 3-4 weeks ago has been unbelievable. In terms of the administration, thank you all for hiring me, by the way. You won't regret it. From the parents of Vista Del Lago players to alumni coming back and wanting to help coach, the abundance of help and willingness to want to be a part of the program has been unbelievable. And I'm dressed like this because we just came from an open gym, so apologize for my for my casualness, but thank you guys so much. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Welcome, all three of you. Glad to have you here and continue to have you here. And Dr. Clegan, thank you for jumping in. By November, I'm sure I'll have down that we need to stop and pause for that. Okay, so officially then, let me bring us into our public hearing, item 11. Item A, public hearing, extension of the urgency implementation of statutory development fees per Education Code section 17620. Dr. Clegan?
Yes, at our April 18th meeting, the Board of Education adopted a resolution to increase the statutory development impact fees to become effective 60 days after its approval. And at that meeting, the board also approved the urgency resolution to immediately implement the increased statutory fees due to the impact of new development. This urgency resolution has a life of 30 days, at which time a second public hearing must be held. So that's the purpose of tonight's public hearing. And again, this urgency implementation will affect only the commercial rates as the district is collecting residential fees at the level 2 rate. So with that, we can open it.
Great. And we will leave some space during the discussion action item for the board to ask any questions. For now, we'll take public comments on the item. Not for this? Okay. I see no public. If it's for this, let's put her on. Sure. Nisha? Nisha, welcome.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hi. Hello, board, and thank you for the opportunity. I'm a parent of an 8th grader in Folsom Middle School. And just today, the students were...
So, Nisha, I apologize. Right now, we're discussing the public hearing. It sounds like maybe this is an item that's not related to that. You're welcome to email the board if you have a comment you would like to make. So, thank you. Okay, so, and no other comments from the public. And then, so I will bring us out of the public hearing back into discussion action. Back to our regular board meeting, item 12, discussion action. Item A, adopt resolution number 05162435, extension of the urgency implementation of statutory school facility fees per Education Code section 17620. Actually,
So instead of repeating what I just said, I am going to ask Mr. Washburn to come to the podium. And if the board has any specific questions about the implementation of this resolution, we would ask that you direct your questions to Mr. Washburn now.
any questions from the board? I'm not seeing any. And we did take public comment during the public hearing. So if there's no other questions from the board or comments, we'll entertain a motion from the board.
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Larrett. We have a second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Reed. Superintendent.
Mr. Mellinger?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
No.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, on to item B, adopt resolution number 05162436, land acknowledgement statement. Superintendent.
Okay, as our presenters are coming to the podium, again, I want to acknowledge and recognize our partners from Native American Parent Advisory Committee who represent parents, community members, students within Folsom, Cordova, and the greater Sacramento region. And I also want to personally thank the NAPAC group for their partnership in working with us, working with Dr. Peace. I want to thank Dr. Peace for her leadership in bringing the land acknowledgement statement and many of the next steps in how we acknowledge our partners from NAPAC and those that were here way before us. And we do have a board resolution we're going to present tonight. We have a little bit of history that we thought was really important, as I've learned a lot from our partners, and we thought it would be important to share that with our board before we take board action on the resolution, which also includes the land acknowledgement statement. But we thought the best way maybe to deliver that land acknowledgement statement that's part of the resolution is to invite one of our students, Kaylee Mize from Cordova High School, to share this statement with us, and then we'll go into a little bit of the background. So welcome, Kaylee. It's great to see you.
Sorry, y'all. As the Folsom Cordova Unified School District, we acknowledge that our administrative facilities and schools occupy the unceded territory of the Miwok, the original people of the skies, land, and waters where we work and learn. We also recognize the presence and ancestral stewardship of the Nisenan ancestral tribes, the Esto, Notamis, Nisham, Pewanon to the north, and the Miwok ancestral tribes, the Opchame, Kasumne, Holtame, Moklone to the north, along the Great Sacramento River system since time immemorial. We understand that this land upon which our institutions are built, was once flourishing with natural resources and sustained by the ancestral knowledge and practices of these indigenous communities. We acknowledge the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that impacts these communities and recognize their resilience of their descendants who continue to thrive today. And our daily endeavors of teaching, learning, and leadership and community engagement, we commit to supporting the evolving vision of the Miwok and Nisenan communities for their lands and people. We seek to learn and collaborate with our tribal partners, including the Wilton Rancheria, who are descendants of the original people of this land. As the only federally recognized tribe in the Sacramento County, Wilton Rancheria welcomes our acknowledgement and collaboration. We pledge to respect and honor the culture, traditions, and lifeways of Indigenous peoples as we work together for the recognition and betterment of our communities and all future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylee. Welcome Dr. Peace and Nikki Perez from NAPAC, and turn the presentation over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. So approximately 3 years ago, FCUSD embarked on the development of a land acknowledgement, recognizing the importance of directly engaging local Indigenous communities and Native nations affected by historical removals from the area. This approach aligns with best practices aimed at honoring my Native brother and sisters' perspectives and preferences. In accordance with this principle, I reached out to the Sacramento Native American Health Center and secured their approval to adapt their land acknowledgement. This step was taken with the utmost sensitivity, ensuring respect for cultural protocols and preferences. Following this, upon establishing a partnership with our NAPAC, I shared the draft land acknowledgement with them for review and feedback. This collaborative process guaranteed that the acknowledgement authentically reflected the values and perspectives of Indigenous communities we aim to honor. As a result of this collaborative effort, NAPAC provided valuable insight and revisions of the land acknowledgement, which were then incorporated into our April 18th presentation. This approach not only underscores our commitment to inclusivity and cultural sensitivity, but also strengthens our partnership with NAPAC through mutual respect and dialogue.
Making a land acknowledgement is a symbol of a genuine respect and support for the Native peoples. Speaking and hearing words of recognition is an important step in creating collaborative, accountable, continuous, and respectful relationships with Indigenous nations and communities. And this quote came from the National Museum of the American Indian, 2024. As a point to reference, land acknowledgements are spoken at the beginning of public and private gatherings, from school programs and sporting events to town halls. Here's some California tribal data. There are currently 109 federally recognized Indian tribes in the California and 78 entities petitioning for recognition. Tribes in California currently have nearly 100 separate reservations and rancherias. There are also a number of individual Indian trust allotments. Most tribes believe their creation became on their indigenous lands. There are 574 federally recognized Indian tribes, bands, nations, pueblos, rancherias, communities, and native villages in the United States. Approximately 229 of those are located in Alaska. The rest are located in 33 other states. Tribes are ethnically, culturally, and linguistically diverse.
Again, this groundwork on this topic began with researching surrounding districts and public agencies. Land acknowledgements have been adopted in several districts throughout Sacramento County. And they are done across the country. And as referenced, they are read in public and private gatherings, from school programs, sporting events to town halls. Again, during this process, the Native American Parent Advisory Committee expressed interest in collaborating with FCUSD on initiatives to support Native American students. And this includes exploration of the Title VI grant and other funding opportunities. Next slide. So there was a question regarding our suggested implementation. And again, this is all done in partnership with NAPAC. So we continue to ask that the land acknowledgement be implemented as read. The adoption of FCUSD board resolution, which Dr. Kaligian referenced earlier. The land acknowledgement posted on a plaque in the Education Services Center, which is this building in the lobby. Also, it being read at every single board meeting, posted on a plaque at every single school. Read anytime the Pledge of Allegiance is read, including graduation ceremonies. Also, new ground construction, breaking ceremonies. Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Peace. Questions for the board? Yeah, Mr. Reed.
Yeah, Mr. President. I want to begin with letting the board and the public know that I will be voting in favor of the land acknowledgement statement tonight. I clearly did not understand how important the reading of the statement was for the Native American community. I had incorrectly thought NAPAC's focus was on Title VI, which I was supportive of. Clearly, I was incorrect, that their goals are much further than just the Title VI issue. I had the opportunity to sit down with representatives from NAPAC last week, which I'm very much appreciative of. During the meeting, I discussed my desire to explore what else we can do above and beyond the land use statement. Several of the ideas that I shared, which I've previously been advocating for, include the posting of the land use statement in the lobby and in the lobbies of the other educational sites throughout the district. The creation of land trusts. I'm not familiar with California law on land trusts. I'm from New York, upstate New York, where there are a lot of Native American tribes, and land use or land trusts are a very common concept in New York State. So I'd like to explore the opportunity to create land trusts here in California. Additional curriculum. One of the things that I thought would be beneficial is to have at each comprehensive high school a dedicated class that would be an elective on Native American studies. And have it at least, if not each year, but have it at least one cycle in a 4-year time period. Similar to actually what Dr. Peace just mentioned, having Native American-led ceremonies at groundbreakings, but also at ribbon cuttings. We have a ribbon cutting coming up with Alder Creek in, I guess, August or September, August. If the Native American community has a particular type of ceremony that they would have with ribbon cuttings or would consider, I think that would be a great opportunity as well. And then an annual cultural celebration, similar to how we have International Night. Could we potentially have an annual cultural celebration for the Native American community? I would appreciate the board's support in exploring these ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Dr. Kaligian, if I may, I forgot to bring up one point. So in partnership with NAPAC, we want to be clear that this is a starting point, not the point, meaning we have more work to do. So we will continue to work collaboratively with NAPAC. And I just want to draw attention that it's important that we call it a land acknowledgement. We're not, the term of land use minimizes the impact of a land acknowledgement for our community. And so just being intentional for all of us, and that the proper term is land acknowledgement, because we're recognizing that our facilities, our education, our teaching and learning is taking place on Indigenous land.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate that clarification. I know I've been guilty of calling it a land use acknowledgement. I'm not sure where that phrase came from, but thank you for the correction. And I think right there with you, it's important that we get that right, especially the way that you've explained it. So much appreciated. Any other questions from the board?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Clark.
Going to slide 6 and suggested implementation of what we're doing with the land acknowledgement. When it is approved tonight, I'm going to say that because I do support it. I've always supported it from 3 years back until I brought it up again in October. Can we add in not only graduation ceremonies, but promotional ceremonies, so we do tap into our middle schools?
You are the board, and so you can decide if that's what you want to do, but I think that's a great addition.
Yeah, I would greatly appreciate that. And if that does happen, can we, once it is approved, can we start that at our promotion and graduation ceremonies next week? I don't want to wait a year. I think we should start it immediately. But those were the questions I had.
I think to piggyback on that, I wonder if we, with that bullet where, I don't know if it says it in the resolution exactly, but anytime the Pledge of Allegiance is read, including but not limited to, maybe, and lists more than just graduation ceremonies. I don't want to keep that as just that, because schools actually say the Pledge of Allegiance every day sometimes. So this would be something that is said every day at those schools.
I'd like to see on the programs for the graduation ceremonies, because I know that they distribute it to everyone, so I'd really like seeing it on there as well.
Any other questions from the board?
I wanted to add one more topic that we discussed when we met last week, the importance of looking at our curriculum and making sure it's accurate and culturally relevant. We talked about that starting at the high school level, but we said really that needs to start at the elementary level. So we, in our rationale, talk about our commitment with our curriculum advisory committee to start reviewing our curriculum, making sure that classroom materials and our library resources are equipped with accurate information and resources that will be a benefit not only to our Native American community, but all of our students, to raise our awareness and our understanding. So that's another commitment that we would like to make. It's not in the statement itself, but it's an important one as a school district as we continue to move forward and grow.
And somebody who spent a lot of time going through all of the California approved curriculum, it's definitely lacking. So we're going to want to look at supplemental materials, because as we go through the approved curriculum in California, unfortunately, it's lacking until you get to that high school ethnic studies course, pretty much is when it starts to become fully inclusive. So I think that we want to look at supplemental materials, which I know the CAC has that committee as well. So just,
and I would say with great emphasis that it is accurate history and not teaching our young scholars that the Pilgrims came and we had a lovely feast, and because that's not real history.
And we'll want to make sure we add some supportive professional development to go along with that.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, just based off of our meeting that we had last week, there was items that were discussed that were on your list that I think are kind of low-hanging fruit that we could kind of implement sooner than later. So the things that we can kind of review more immediate, and I know this process took 3 years, and I know that we needed to take that time to make sure that this was done in a proper way. But some of the things like, finding a dedicated space for you to meet and things like that, I think that those we could probably expedite. And so I would encourage that we look at those items and get them implemented sooner than later, so that we can start really being very responsive as fast as we possibly can.
one additional recommendation that I'm making, NAPAC hasn't requested, but as an organization, I would like to suggest that we waive any fees for facility usage, as again, this land does not belong to us. And all of our facilities are on their land, so fees should be waived.
100% agreement with that. So thank you for bringing that up.
If there's no other question, we'll take it out to the public in a moment. Just so it sounds like kind of where we're headed is when we come back to board comment, looking at the suggested implementation, potentially with that change in verbiage from including but not limited to, which I think does probably cover everything, including graduations and any other ceremonies. So with that being said, we will take it out to public comment, starting with Vonell Cheryl and then Yara Elkier. Welcome.
Well, all the support I just heard will certainly make this speech easier. But good evening, nonetheless. I stand with you all today firmly supporting the proposed land acknowledgement policy. It would be so simple to take an emotional approach that forgoes logic, hoping that it would suffice the needed approval. Still, as we teach our students to be strong, critical thinkers who use evidence to support their claims, I too must be ready to be able to do so as a teacher. According to the National Museum of the American Indian Land Acknowledgements are used by Native peoples and non-natives to recognize Indigenous peoples who are the original stewards of the lands on which we now live, end quote. However, the museum also states, and I quote, making a land acknowledgement should be motivated by genuine respect and support for Native peoples. Speaking and hearing words of recognition is an important step in creating collaborative, accountable, continuous, and respectful relationships with Indigenous nations and communities, end quote. Several board policies underscore the importance of equity, non-discrimination, and appreciation of diversity. More specifically, policies 0415 regarding equity, policy 0100 regarding district philosophy, and policy 0410 regarding non-discrimination. Let's examine the overarching philosophical guidelines that are meant to serve as the foundation on which the board is to act upon. There are 20 points in total, but number 13 states, the diversity of the student body and school staff enriches the learning experience, promotes cultural awareness and acceptance, and serves as a model for citizenship in a global society, end quote. That's a remarkable statement when interpreted only with words and no action. Policy 0410 states in the first paragraph, and I quote, the governing board is committed to providing equal opportunity for all individuals in district programs and activities. District programs, activities, and practices shall be free from unlawful discrimination, discrimination against individual or group based on race, color, creed, ancestry, nationality, national origin, immigration status, ethnic group identification, ethnicity, language, age, religion, marital status, pregnancy, parental status, physical or mental disability, sex or sexual orientation, including sexual harassment, gender, gender identity, gender expression, genetic information, geographic location or socioeconomic status, perception of or one of such characteristics, or association with a person or group with one or more of these actual or perceived characteristics, end quote. The problem here lies that, that if we deny this passage and the message that's given if we deny it or change it. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, policy 0415 regarding equity. There are 3 areas worth highlighting here, and I quote, the Folsom Cordova Unified School District Governing Board believes that the diversity that exists among the district stakeholders is integral to the district's vision, mission, and goals. FCUSD acknowledges that complex societal and historical factors contribute to the systemic inequities within the district. Therefore, FCUSD is committed to policy and practices for eliminating predictable opportunity gaps based on a student's race, ethnicity, color, national origin, gender, gender identity, gender expression, sexual orientation, disability, geographic location, socioeconomic background, pregnancy, language, immigration status, or religion or other characteristics. I'm going to move forward since I realize I'm out of time. Voting against this policy would fundamentally violate the policies I have quoted. It is critical that we observe the stakeholders, most vital of which are our Native American students and families. According to the California dashboard, which the California Department of Education operates, Folsom Cordova is home to 51 students of Native American descent, totaling 0.3% of our student population. Some may classify that as statistically insignificant, but may I remind you that the policy's philosophy, mission, and vision statement note that the district is beholden to all students. Denying or in any way amending the proposal is invalidation of these students and violates the core values this district is meant to stand for. What is truly concerning is that if this policy fails, then we are setting a dangerous precedent of denying minority students their well-deserved recognition and removing safe spaces where they are empowered to become citizens, which brings the reason for our very existence as an organization into question. And I'll end here. It must also be stated that we cannot simply stop here. We must do more to collectively empower our Native American students and community and our community at large. However, this is a step in the right direction and it's time to take it. I sincerely hope that the right decision will be made here tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, next speaker is Yara Elkire, followed by Megan Lyons. Welcome.
Hello. Hello, District Board members and educators. My name is Yara Elkare, and I'm an Afro-American that goes to Folsom Middle School, and I hope to enlighten you on my perspective of this debate. First, before anything, I want to define what a land acknowledgement is. According to the NEEF, or the National Environmental Education Foundation, acknowledgement of a traditional land is a public statement of the name of the traditional native inhabitants of a place. I'm in 8th grade, and a part of this class, we got into the units and learned about the Native Americans and how much they were part of society then and today. Okay. If you speak the truth on this, this was the Native Americans' land before ours, and as the history of story goes, we took the land from them in the process of building America. It's a part of our country's sad truth. They roamed the land before us, and it's only right if we acknowledge these people. People are people, and whomever they deserve the right to be appreciated and shown, especially the people who built this country. As someone of ethnicity, I know how frustrating it is for you to get your ethnicity ignored and to the point it's a norm. I remember this because how much it holds significance in my head. During the recent Ramadan, my brother's elementary school, Restaurant Ranch, had a huge sign saying Happy Ramadan during the holy month of Ramadan. According to my mom, she was so surprised that the school would actually put up a sign recognizing and appreciating the people of that religion. Now, I can somewhat understand this because there's not as much of appreciation for Arabs because there's not as many Arabs in the region and we don't have any history here. But to the people that helped build our country and our brothers and sisters, this should not be accepted and this should not be considered a norm. Now, concluding that, I'll be using District Board policies to explain and elaborate my point. District Board Policy 0410 states, district programs, activities, and practices shall be free from unlawful discrimination against an individual or group based on race, color, creed, ancestry, nationality, origin, and immigration status. Using that, you can see without this, a land acknowledgement, we would be going against this policy. Policy 0415, you say that you would abide by commit to ensure that fairness, equity, and inclusion are essential principles of our school system. And we will fully integrate these principles into our board policy, programs, operations, and practices. Without the land acknowledgements, you are refusing to abide by this. Policy 0100 states, common philosophy ideas that would broad instill the diversity of the student body and the school staff, enriches the learning experience, and promotes cultural awareness and acceptance. And it serves as a model for citizenship in a global society. With this land acknowledgement, you're opening up and becoming more diverse to your population of Native American kids, parents, and more. I hope you see and understand my point. Thank you.
Thank you. Megan Lyons, followed by Veronica Lane.
Good evening. A little tall. My name is Megan Lyons. This is my 12th year teaching. I've been in FCUSD since 2018, and I come before you today to also demonstrate my support for the land acknowledgement statement. And it sounds like it's going in a favorable direction, but I'm also urging the board to approve it. Because during those 12 years of teaching, something has remained consistent. I love my students and I value them. And every single student deserves to be valued and seen because of their heritage, background, and identity. By acknowledging the land, it is a small yet meaningful step toward creating a more inclusive environment for everyone in our district. Incorporating a land acknowledgement aligns with our district's dedication to fostering a culture of equity at all levels. It sends a clear message that we value diversity, inclusion, and the voices of marginalized communities, a message that has sadly been lost in the last few weeks. So I urge the board to vote in favor of approving the land acknowledgement, an important recognition of the land and its original inhabitants. This is another reminder that this is the first of many steps to help our district move toward its equity goal. So please, be a representative that leads us into that future and not someone who holds us back. Thank you.
Thank you. Veronica Lane, followed by Stan Jones.
I'm gonna go shorter. Good evening, President Hui, members of the board, and Dr. Kaligian. My name is Veronica Lane, and I'm a parent of a Cordova High School and Mitchell Middle School scholars. I also work at Mills Middle School and make educational decisions for 2 Prospect scholars. I think that's over half of the secondary schools. I live in Rancho Cordova, and I am very involved in my community. Too many committees to mention for time. I'm here to speak in support of the land acknowledgement statement and having it read at every board meeting. When a comprehensive review of curriculum occurs to ensure the inclusion of historically accurate, culturally sensitive, and grade level appropriate lessons, it should be done authentically. In the future, I am respectfully asking that you take a look at our equity questions when making decisions about our scholars. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Stan Jones, followed by Kaylee Mize.
Stan Jones, longtime resident of Rancho Cordova with children and grandchildren attending and graduating from Cordova High School. So I look in the education code because one of the things on here, it says read anytime the Pledge of Allegiance is read, including graduation ceremonies. So I wondered when the Pledge of Allegiance was read or spoken, because it is at a lot of meetings, and I wondered why. Why not ask? Why not look up? Because of the internet, we can look at these records, and I did. Article 2, Section 52.720 of the State Education Code. I can leave it if you want it, but what it says is that every public elementary school each day during the school year at the beginning of the first regularly scheduled class or activity period, there shall be conducted appropriate patriotic exercises. The giving of the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America shall satisfy the requirements of this section. I couldn't figure out when this was actually done. However, I remember from probably first grade a long time ago. I'm a war baby. I was born during World War II. It was a very long time ago that it happened. Somewhere in the 1950s, they added under God. I assume the federal government did this, and I assume that this is in our state education code because it was directed by the federal government. So that being the case here, that if we're going to read this statement every time the Pledge of Allegiance is read, then we have some concern. I have some concern. And the concern relates to going back for me, going through school, deciding I wanted to be a teacher, going to graduate school, Department of Education, CSU system, working on an elementary teaching credential, doing student teaching in math in middle school in Hayward in an inner city school district where half the kids aren't there at a given day. Who do we educate as teachers in our classroom? What are we here for as a district? What we're here for as a district is to educate the youth of our community. Well, who are we to teach when we are teaching in a classroom of students? We teach everyone who is registered. If this school district ever tries to teach kids or bar kids from being taught in a classroom, I would like to know about it, and in any case, there it is. So I can create so then I was I was trained by an A-level coach to coach girls soccer. A-level is just below the Olympic Development Program, and I was told anything negative is wrong. So I look at the statement here and I read something that says,
Mr.
we
Prince, if you could work
acknowledge
on wrapping up, please. Thank you.
the injustices of colonialism and attempted genocide that have impacted our community. That doesn't sound very positive. It doesn't seem to me to be in harmony with what the program was this evening, which was to honor academic excellence. We honor sports. We honor things that are positive. And I'll stop. I need to go. And I just think that the statement is not positive, and our young people should not have to hear it every day. Can we come to something positive?
Thank you. All right, next speaker is Kaylee Mize, followed by Christy Perez.
Wow. I'm almost in tears because I never thought we'd get to this point. After April 18th, I never thought we'd get to this point. Good evening, board. My name is Kaylee Mize. My people come from the Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Osage, and Quapaw nations. I am a junior at Cordova High, and today is either yes or a no. I hope that each one of you sees in your heart how important this is for our students' education. I want to thank you for your consideration of what goes on behind doors, and you know who you are. This is a step towards change. Folsom Cordova Unified School District should be a part of this journey towards healing. Let's give our Native students the chance to finally be heard. I want to thank Mr. Reed and Mrs. Laird for their support and enthusiasm, and I hope, and I hold you to it, that attitude continues, and that your support is continued not just this meeting, but every meeting and every time after it. Land acknowledgements could benefit our students so much, like said in the presentation. Our students deserve to know more. Our students deserve to know the true history. Like I said in the last speech, my 5-year-old sister is forced to read that Pledge of Allegiance. She doesn't know a thing about it. I tell her why I don't read the Pledge of Allegiance, and she's scared. I don't want to tell my teacher I don't want to read it. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want them to sit me in the corner because I don't want to read this Pledge of Allegiance. And that breaks my heart. So let's take a step forward towards healing. Let's do better as a district. Let this district be the district that acknowledges the true owners of this land. The true owners. This is only the beginning, and I hope that we have your continued support through this journey. Like was said, this is not just one point. This is just the beginning. Mr. Reed, I want to thank you personally for your apology and thought on your comments at April 18th meeting. I told you personally, I will learn to forgive you. My people are very forgiving, as you saw what happened to them, but we're still here. And the fact that you are open to learning more about how to change our district into a future where Native students are included is important, and it makes me proud to say that I can educate somebody else. So please, fellow board members, let's start the change. Let's start the new beginning of true equity. Like Adadir, an elder from my tribe, once said, we must strive to set policy rather than be victimized by it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Christy Perez, followed by Klein Moore. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Christy Perez. I'm a secretary of the NAPAC and a parent of a Native student within the Folsom Cordova Unified School District. I'm an enrolled member of the Ponca Tribe of Nebraska, and I'm Sinchagu Lakota. I just have a few words about the land acknowledgement, obviously. As a Native person, I deeply understand the importance of a land acknowledgement statement within the school district. It's not just a formality, it's a recognition of the indigenous peoples who have been stewards of this land for generations. It validates their cultural heritage and contributions, fostering a sense of pride and belonging. For local tribes, this acknowledgement holds profound significance, signaling a commitment to building a positive relationship based on respect and understanding. It opens the doors for collaboration and partnership, providing opportunities for tribes to share their knowledge, traditions, language, and language within the educational curriculum. Despite potential opposition from the community, I'm optimistic that by sharing the significance of the land acknowledgements, both Native people and community members can come together in support. Tonight, my hope is that the school board members unite in adopting the resolution, demonstrating that our dedication to acknowledging and respecting Indigenous peoples of this land and taking a significant steps towards promoting inclusivity, cultural awareness, and reconciliation within our school district. I want to express my gratitude to Mr. Reed for taking the time to meet with the NAPAC and engaging in a thoughtful conversation about the land acknowledgement. Your willingness to listen and learn about the significance of the land, the significance to the Native community was truly appreciated. I also want to thank Ms. Larrett for meeting with us and her enthusiasm and eagerness to support our efforts in getting the Native Ed program started. I also want to give a huge thank you to the Folsom Cordova Unified School Board members and the staff for quickly submitting the application for the Title VI funding and for their ongoing support. I'm excited to continue the work together to better the lives of our Native youth in the community and build a strong Native education program. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Klein Moore, followed by Brian Spencer. Welcome.
Hey, good evening. Community's been keeping a close eye as this quest for justice and equity in the Folsom Cordova School District unfolds. And tonight, the students and parents, the families and teachers, staff, board members, activists, and administration, and community members all know we've been counting the votes minute by minute, so we know where you all stand. And I must proclaim, congratulations. You deserve a round of applause. No, a standing ovation. Oh, but not now, not during my speaking time, because you know the guy with the buzzer. I don't want to get up the hook, right? So after I'm done, we'll all clap, right? Okay, deal. I'd also, though, like to extend a special congratulations tonight because we can't only recognize the people standing with us when we cross a milestone. We have to acknowledge those who came the farthest to stand in solidarity with us as we make history tonight. Thank you, David Reed. I understand you've apologized. Met with many people, including the NAPAC leadership. You discussed designing a plan. The list has been up there, so I'm not going to go through all the different things on that list. But one thing you said does ring true. A land acknowledgement by itself, just speaking the words, it's not doing the work of equity. Is it? Is it? No. Okay. Just want to make sure. I'm excited to hear that you have support too from various people. Some people from the Mormon Church might be here, if you're here. Anybody? No? Well, I was hoping they would come. Maybe I had my ear to the wrong railroad track. But and I know that some other people that are coming to the board, some hopefuls like Ms. Sanderson, a fellow member, is eagerly looking to join you on this board in the November 6th election. And that's a mere 6 months away. So if it's to be, we need to roll up our sleeves and get to work. Just changing the vote from, I'm saving myself from being canceled to, really being an advocate for equity. It's a start, but the fact that it was even a discussion in the first place is telling of how far we have to go. The basis of these changes, the desperate need for ethnic studies, it's so people who don't know are informed. So you don't reference Andrew Jackson, who, by the way, orchestrated the Indian Removal Act in opposition to the Supreme Court, every treaty, and against the decency of humanity, without thinking about who you might be offending, traumatizing, and worse, inoculating with racist ignorance that keeps people of color oppressed while protecting white privilege. Now, racism is not a people of color issue. So the movement doesn't just benefit Native people, as I keep hearing you saying even tonight. That's problematic. We stand to grossly underprepare students of European descent who must function effectively in a multicultural world. So this is my ask. Add to the list of things that must get done, near the top, but not the first, a series of diversity and inclusion trainings for this board,
Mr.
including
Murphy, please, we're
taking my
wrapping it up.
discussion with Mary Tarango today, court elder, an orientation for new board members from here on out to change the culture of institutional bias, both implicit and overt, that's both pervasive and obvious. Make it open to administration,
Mr.
teachers,
Morris, you can
staff,
work on wrapping your statement
anyone
up.
in
Thank you.
contact with or making decisions affecting our children's young hearts and minds. Now, this will require resources, money, and time, but the rewards
Mr. Moore, appreciate
outweigh,
the comments. You
I
can work on wrapping
wrap it
up.
up.
Thank
The
you.
rewards outweigh the cost by a long shot, and the price of inaction will be on your hands. Now, there's many evidence-based support, empowerment, progress-driven programs. I've worked with many, like a Scribe Educational.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Clark has their information. They worked in the Robley District. They made headlines doing restorative, productive relationships in the region. And it's our job now to bring in some experts.
Ms. Moore, we're
And we
going
must
to move on
admit,
to the next speaker.
they are
Thank
all
you.
necessary. Now, this is the last thing. We have to make systematic and deliberate improvements in the way we learn, do things, treat each other, grow, change, and transform. Your community needs it and requests it. Your code of conduct and charter decrees it, but it's your morality and understanding to put it into action that will manifest it. Good luck. We will be watching.
Thank you. Next speaker is Brian Spencer, followed by Zara Noor. Welcome.
Good evening. How is everybody? In my culture, we do call and response. So when someone says good evening, you say good evening. Let's try this one more time. Good evening. That's about being connected, even if you're on the other side of the table. So I am moderately hopeful, but we've got a long road to travel. This is a step in the right direction. I don't want to be your opponent, but if you're not ready to make change, I will be your opponent. Not just with the land acknowledgement, but with the other recommendations as well. Folsom leads in so many different areas. We should lead in this area as well. So I'm going to get off the stage so the vote can come faster. And I'm hoping it's unanimous. The last thing I want to say is I was incredibly impressed with our student board members. The comments that they made were so forward-thinking. They were even in front of the majority of the adults on the dais. And for that, I am hopeful. Our students are brilliant, empathetic, open, and forward-thinking. Please keep that up.
Thank you. All right, next speaker is Zara Noor, followed by Emma Smiley. Welcome.
Hello, board. This is my first time speaking in front of you guys, so. My name is Zahra. I'm a teacher at the district, and I also have 2 kids that go to Mangini Ranch, so I'm a parent and a teacher here. I know we're talking about the land acknowledgement, but I wanted to say that in this lane, and we're talking about things that we want to do more of, not just, speaking a land acknowledgement, is to change Sutter Middle School's name because of the controversial, history with John Sutter, and just basically how he was treating the Nisenan people. There is precedent for this. Sutter Middle School in Sacramento recently changed their name to Miwok Middle School now. And then also as a parent in the district, I just wanted to bring up, I know we talked about curriculum as a history teacher, when my daughter came home and was like, Mommy, we have to do a mission project. I was like, yikes, we're still doing that. So just like a lot of things in this lane, I think we can improve on. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Emma Smiley, followed by Earl Smith. Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Emma Smiley. I'm a student at Cordova High School. I'm the student representative of our NAPAC. I am an enrolled member of the Ponca Tribe of Nebraska and Emson-Chaga Lakota. I initially did not plan on speaking tonight, but I decided that I have a couple things to say. Last board meeting, my speech was full of emotion and was focused on the importance of a land acknowledgement, which still stands true. But since then, our NAPAC got the chance to have a face-to-face meeting with Mr. Reed, and it did not go as I expected, but that is in the best way possible. It was clear to see what our Native community had to say really did resonate with him. To hear the sincere apology face-to-face meant so much to me, not only me, but our NAPAC as well. I truly do believe that we can move on from the negativity and come together and to continue to collaborate with our Title VI program. Because in the same way land acknowledgement is important, it is also important to acknowledge Mr. Reed's self-reflection and open-mindedness after our meeting. So thank you to everyone on the board being so supportive of our NAPAC. And a big thank you to Ms. Lair and Mr. Reed for our previous meeting and your enthusiasm to get the Title VI program up and running. I hope today we can adopt the land acknowledgement statement. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Earl Smith.
Hello to the board again. Mr. Reed, I wish I knew about that meeting. I would have liked to have been there. I left, picked up Faith. They had graduation at the Folsom Lake College, and the chamber choir sang the national anthem there as a choir. So I was supposed to be there, but I felt this was a little bit more important, and the professor, excused me. But when I picked up Faith, she said, you know what? When they started, they did a land acknowledgement. My grandmother couldn't read. So last week when I spoke of my tribe, I was saying it the way she said it, which is incorrect. Choctaw, Mississippi. I don't know a whole lot about my Native American heritage, but I do know this. My sister texted me 3 months ago, I got our Choctaw card, and now I can go to UCLA for free. I said, what? I still have student debt. I'm thankful for my degree. But through this, some people can look at the negative, but through all the stuff that my daughter and I have been going through, I've been trying to teach her to look for the positive in the negative. But sometimes negative happens that can push you to find a certain positive you would have never looked for before. And to forgive. I'm pleased to hear that you met and that everyone is saying. That's a great example to our students. It's a great example to my daughter as she's watching right now at home, is to forgive. And people aren't perfect. And yes, for equality, we all benefit from it. One thing I said to Principal Cadenhead, it's a shame that what has happened. Because I have a whole bunch of rich friends in El Dorado Hills. One of my friends, Mercy, who's an insurance lady, has this three-story house that's huge that would say, hey, let's do a fundraiser here. But because Faith wasn't there, the program missed out on a lot of money. We all can learn from each other. And that's what I've been trying to teach from my daughter. It's like eating foods from different cultures. And when you made your apology to the Armenian lady, I watched it. That was powerful. It's teaching me as a Black man. So I want to thank you, Mr. Reed. I appreciate you meeting and your apology. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I don't have any other comments in person. We have none online, so we'll bring it back to the board for any final comments.
Mr. President, if there are no comments from the board, I just want to make sure that we have those things in place as far as the reading of the land acknowledgement at not only our graduation, but our middle school promotional ceremonies, but it would be acknowledgeable and with my honor and respect to our Native Americans to move to pass this resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Can I just clarify? We're in a motion, move to approve this with the change of language
additions.
to that it will be spoken after the pledge, including but not limited to graduation. Does that work?
Promotional ceremonies?
Graduation and promotional ceremonies?
Yes.
Sure. Mr.
Mr. President, I'm curious. I was asking my children how often they say the pledge, and my understanding is it is not every single day. So can we request that the Pledge of Allegiance be said every single day at every single site in the district, and then obviously have the land use or the land acknowledgement statement said at the same time?
Mr. Reed, I would just recommend maybe that we stick with what's on here, and then if we want to come back to the discussion about the pledge, we make that a separate item.
That's fine.
I wanted to clarify real quickly too. I think I said that the motion would be that it would be read after the pledge. Let's read what's actually on the sheet. I didn't mean after pledge. That this would be read anytime the Pledge of Allegiance is read, including but not limited to graduation and promotion ceremonies. Sound good? Okay.
And I would recommend we put that into the resolution. So it's, because the resolution is the more formal part, which includes the land acknowledgement statement. So in that, therefore be it resolved, on the second page of the resolution, we will want to reflect that the language that the board, I think, is agreeing to in that.
Yeah. So open to other comments. We do have a.
There is a motion on the floor, Mr. President. I wanted to touch base on the fees as far as using the facilities, and will that be part of the resolution?
I think we can do that outside of the resolution. Same with the curriculum. I mean,
Okay.
there's a lot more to be done beyond
Sure.
passing the resolution, but we're going to have
I
that
just want to make
discussion.
sure that we don't forget that. If it's been discussed, we need to honor that.
All right, so the motion on the floor is for Mr. Clark to, approve these implementations, both in practice and on the resolution, including the language that we just went over. Other comments or a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Second by Mr. Reed. Before we vote, just want to continue to leave space. Is there any other comments on the item?
I just would like to stress the urgency. I mean, I know that I'm kind of known for urgency, that we do not delay on the list of the other items that are on that. So anything that we can expedite, we really need to make a concerted effort that we're expediting those things as quickly as possible. I don't want to see 3 years pass before we take care of anything else that's on that list. So.
Additionally, I would hope that it would be read when I walk the stage next Friday, please. I'm urging you, yeah. But graduation ceremonies, it should be read at every single one of these listed here. For the
Well, that's
sake,
a request that I had made. When we
urgency,
had talked about
for
it.
the sake,
So,
for the sake of the community.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. Mr. Mellinger, and I do think if when we approve this tonight, then in effect, it will be a policy when we go into graduation next week. But thank you for that reminder. Good. If there's no other comments, I do just want to express gratitude to NAPAC. Thank you for your patience in this and for really, I think, certainly I've learned a lot. I know that many of us have. So thank you. And, thank you to the public for entering into this conversation. We've said this before, this meeting is not a great platform to have a discussion, but we appreciate you reaching out outside of here and in other areas. So it's been mentioned a few times tonight that this wasn't always an easy discussion, but hopefully it is something that we've really been able to grow and learn from, and we keep pushing forward after tonight. To Ms. Laird's point, further and further into this discussion, even beyond the land acknowledgement. With all that said, Dr. Kaligian, would you call roll?
I'd be happy to. Mr. Bellinger?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, well, thank you all. We're going to move on to item C of discussion action, approved facilities naming subcommittee recommendation for Cordova Gardens Elementary School. Superintendent.
Thank you. For the past 5 years, Cordova Gardens has been reimagining how they engage their students and their families around science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics through classes and shaping their STEAM offerings every year. And with that, it was time for the school to look at maybe reimagining the name of the school too. So with that, we have a recommendation, and I'm going to ask Angela Griffin if she has anything to add to the process, or if Mr. Bliss wants to say anything about the committee that met at the school to gather the feedback, because this was a long journey and coming together with the feedback from the teachers and the families and the community.
So I'll make it quick. I'm Mr. Bliss, the principal at Cordova Gardens Elementary, and thank you to the board, President Hui, Dr. Kaligian. I just wanted to say this has been a very lengthy process bringing engagement and science to Cordova Gardens Elementary. And really, what we had set upon was a mission to really bring engagement to our students in the Rancho Cordova side of the district. And so I feel that my teachers and staff have really taken effort to really bring that to our school. And so with the name change comes, not only the pressure to maintain that engagement, but also to really differentiate ourselves from other schools. And so just talking to our community and our teachers and staff, really we were looking at something to highlight the arts and the sciences, things that we really want to bring back for our elementary students.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's any questions about the process. As Mr. Bliss mentioned, this effort began before the pandemic, and it really was an organic effort of the teachers who have been working together to collaborate on incorporating sciences and the arts in a very systematic way by grade level, so that all students would have this opportunity for some of these unique experiences that take place at the school. And so a lot of community feedback was gathered by the staff and the community, and they were overwhelmingly in agreement of the name recommendation that's going before you tonight.
Great. Any questions from the board? Not seeing any. I don't have any in-person public comments. Do we have any online? No. Okay, I'll bring it back for final comments from the board.
I'm really excited about this change. I know you guys work really hard at that site. Every time I go over there, I'm always dazzled by the amazing projects that you guys have going on, and the kids are so happy. I appreciate your leadership and taking this step forward. I think it's really going to be transformative because I think a lot of the public doesn't realize the amazing curriculum, the amazing staff that you have that supports these programs. And just want to give a quick plug that there will be a beautification on Saturday at Cordova Gardens. So if any volunteers want to come out, that would be amazing to kick this off. So
I'll be there too.
Great. If there are no other comments from the board, we would entertain a motion.
I'll move.
All right, move for the district recommendation by Mr. Reed. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Second by Mr. Clark.
Mr. Mellinger?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Clark?
Aye.
Ms. Larrett?
Aye.
Ms. Lofthouse?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Hui?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, moves us on to item 13, discussion. And item A, Student Wellness Team School Mental Health Update.
Well, thank you to our mental health team that's here tonight, joining Kate Hazarian. I invite you to come on up. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and our student wellness team is here to represent, but also to talk about the amazing work that they've been doing to support our students and our staff in our schools. So with that, Kate, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Superintendent Kaligian, President Hui, board members, and our community. We're excited to present with you tonight. Our student wellness team is a group of 22 professionals who work diligently every day to serve the students and staff on our campuses, and they have lots of information to present to you this evening. They are just part of the network of student care in our district. We want to acknowledge the collaboration with our school counselors, our school psychologists, our behaviorists, our community schools team, and our school nurses. And I'll pass it over to Ms. Jadria.
Do we have the clicker? We're gonna do it. Perfect. Okay. Hi, my name is Jadria Newby. I'm a mental health specialist at Cordova High School. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so it's a perfect time to talk to you guys about the vital role that our team plays in promoting mentally healthy schools. The Surgeon General actually came out with an advisory in December 2021 highlighting the alarming increase in mental health challenges among children, adolescents, and young adults. The advisory also showed that although mental health challenges are widespread, they are often preventable and they are often treatable, and access to support at school removes barriers to care. So who we are. Our team originally formed in 2015-2016 school year. We had 5 marriage and family therapists, 1 school social worker, and they came together to create the team we have now. We also had a few folks on the special ed side that were providing educationally related mental health services, or ERMs. In the 2018-2019 school year, we combined. We've continued to grow since there, and here are our numbers now. We have 16 marriage and family therapists, 5 licensed clinical social workers, 6 going mental health clinicians, and 5 to 7 bachelor or master's interns per year. So what do we do? It would take a lot longer than just today's presentation to tell you guys all the amazing stuff that we do in our role. We support mental health, we build relationships, we provide special or professional development, we work in general ed, we work in special ed, we provide skills-based counseling, we don't diagnose students, we connect them with outside services, and at the end of the day, we remove those barriers to mental health care by being on campus and being accessible. A large part of our role is teaching the 5 core social emotional competencies, so self-awareness, self-management, responsible decision-making, relationship skills, and social awareness through evidence-based strategies. And we implement these strategies through different tiered levels of support. I'm now gonna pass it off to Mike, and he is gonna break down what those tiers look like.
Thanks, Jadria. So hi, my name is Mike Phillips. I'm a mental health specialist at White Rock Elementary. And the next slide. It's not too imperative. Thank you. So I'm going to just kind of take us through an overview of what the levels of support that we as mental health specialists provide in a day. So we're starting with tier 1. And I keep hitting everything. All right. So tier 1 is really, we mean by available to all staff and students. What we mean by that is school-wide. So that's going to be us being out at recesses, being out at lunch, building connections, being accessible and available to students, to kind of go off what Jadria said, right, to create that ease of access, and also start putting a face to the mental health supports at our school. Another thing we also want to do too is to start destigmatizing mental health. So we want to get away from the thought that it's something that's taboo and start moving it into the same thought process as physical health, right? We want our kids and our students and even our staff to start thinking that mental health is something we need to put time and energy into developing and maintaining. Also, we want to be involved, or not want to, we're involved in all of our PBIS or climate teams at each one of our sites. Thank you. All right, so our tier 2 support, so with tier 1 was all students and staff. Tier 2 is going to be smaller groups of students. What we're looking here to do is create supports that are available to help those students be successful who have identified or who have been identified to need additional support. So this can look like check-in, check-outs, breaks are better, walk and talks. This can also be buddy classrooms, and it can be our small individual, groups, kind of like SEL groups, thank you. So this could be something like zones of regulation, lunch bunts, hands-off academy, things of that nature, different evidence-based programs. And then with that too, we're gonna start connecting with parents And caregivers, that's a big part of our job. We want to really start connecting with our caregivers, parents, and families so that we can bridge that school gap connection. Another part we want to put on there, we're thinking tier 2 kind of goes back to that idea that the data is showing that students are 70% more likely to access mental health services if they're on school. So the more we can be available and start developing those relationships, the more accessible we can be to our students. All right, finally, our tier 3 supports are going to be tailored for individual students. So this is going to be kind of that traditional, what you think for our role of mental health specialists. This could be those 6 sessions where we provide social emotional skills-based learning or skills training. This can also be if a student has an individual education plan, we can provide educationally related mental health services. I'm used to saying the acronym, sorry, and then to pronounce them all out, I get tongue-tied. So this is where we can provide educationally related mental health services to help support an individual education plan for our students. We could do risk assessments. So if a student is at harm to themselves or others, we can come in and provide supports, help connect them to resources. Or if we're having a student that is in crisis or experiencing large emotions, we can come in, help to support that student, help to do some in-the-moment skills training as well. If a student needs more than those 6 sessions that we can provide, we can help the families connect with outside services or long-term care. That could be through Care Solace, Sacramento County Access, or our Sacramento County Office of Education clinicians, if our site has one. And right now, I'm going to turn it over to Jana to provide some data about our program.
Hi, I'm Jana Record, and I'm currently a mental health specialist at Folsom Middle School. I'm going to share the data with you guys. This is data that our team of mental health specialists collects every year throughout the year. On a weekly basis, we turn them into our data guru that's standing behind me. On this slide, you can see that we have over 1,200 general ed referrals to our services, our team of clinicians that work with students individually. These are the numbers for the last few years. As you can see, we're pretty much on average for this year, and this is through April 12th. The next slide shows how many individual counseling sessions that our team has completed this year. As you can see, we've done more than 5,500 individual counseling sessions this year, again through April 12th. We have increased our focus this year on Tier 1 supports and supporting students in their natural environments. So like Mike stated, Tier 1 and Tier 2, being out and about around the school, being at recess and lunches and drop off and pick up, our team is very visible around the school campus. On this pie chart, you'll see a breakdown of what the sessions that we are conducting are covering. So the biggest portion up there looks like it's ERMs, but if you add all the others, that's the general ed sessions, 66%, which are our general ed sessions. And you can see the largest one is behavior, then anxiety, and then stress. So those are some of the top reasons that we are seeing students on our campuses for counseling sessions. We have SCOE clinicians across the district at a few different schools that will see students for longer term services, and these are usually billed through Medi-Cal. So this is another additional support that our team will connect with and do some collaboration with the SCOE clinicians that we work with on our campuses. And here's data on the Care Solace. If you guys are familiar with Care Solace, like Mike mentioned, Care Solace connects students, their family members, even staff to outside clinicians that can provide long-term mental health services. So we use Care Solace. I know I use it almost daily, but definitely weekly in my work. We can do warm handoffs so that the parent doesn't even have to reach out to anybody. The Care Solace helpers reach out to them and then connect them with a provider through their insurance. Here we look at risk assessments. So this would be something that's more on the Tier 3 side of what Mike was mentioning earlier. These are with students individually to assess for risk of harm to self or others. So this is an intervention that takes a little bit more time. And again, these are numbers through April 12th. We've done over 360 risk assessments this school year. And here's a breakdown of those risk assessments. As you can see, the largest portion, again, is low risk. So I just wanted to point out that this is definitely more of a preventative, even though it's a tier 3 intervention, it can be seen as more of a preventative intervention because we are going to work with students at any level if they're showing any risk of harm to self or others, to connect them with outside resources, additional supports as needed, and we are also always connecting with parents in this instance. Here's a breakdown of where we're doing the risk assessments. As you can see, 50% is at the elementary school and 50% is at the secondary level. As stated in the last slide, the risk assessments at the elementary level really can be a preventative kind of first chance to really reach out to students that are struggling and get them connected to appropriate supports for early intervention. I'm going to pass it off to Erin now.
Hi, I'm Erin Chan. I'm the school social worker at Gold Ridge Elementary and Vista Del Lago High School. From the first day of school this year through April 12th, our team has provided 703 community resource referrals, so anything from connection to domestic violence agencies, to grief counseling, to parenting support programs. 2,181 caregiver supports. So this is when we engage caregivers face-to-face or by phone to really just help them come alongside us to support their child. 2,932 in-class behavior supports. So in a situation where a child might be pulled out of the classroom because of emotional dysregulation, we can go into the class, help them implement skills so that they can stay in the class and learn. And 10,221 direct student supports. So anything like conflict mediation on the playground, to just, again, emotional skills, regulation skills coaching, and push-ins to classrooms to teach SEL lessons. Okay, so we'd like to tell you about the journey of one of our students this year. It's a true story, so I will be using the alias Annie for this. So Annie is a 5th grader, and early this year, Annie was struggling, as she had in other years. So just a glance from up here, she would interpret as a threat. She would posture and threaten and threw a couple punches this year. She also had a hard time following the directives of staff, and she was frequently with the principal. So Annie was matched with the school's newly assigned social worker. Trust was built over time, and Annie was able to let her guard down. They uncovered Annie's hopes and dreams, her values, and her strengths. And the social worker taught Annie emotional regulation skills. Also, the social worker was able to go out when Annie was triggered in class or on the playground and help her in the moment implement those skills. The social worker trained all staff in trauma-informed practices and then worked with Annie's teachers and the yard staff to tailor those interventions to Annie. Also, of course, the parent was engaged. Her mom was guarded at first, but over time really was able to engage with us more and more. She still isn't ready to accept resources for her family outside of the district, but the social worker will be there when she's ready. So Annie's progress was tracked over time, and her grades did improve. Her visits to the principal decreased, and truly, she recently won the Kindness Award in the assembly. So the social worker asked Annie to write down some of what she's learned this year. She wrote, "I can be a leader in a good way. If you respect others, they will respect you. Ask for help." And at the bottom of the page, Annie wrote, "Thank you for listening when no one else would." So, barriers like time and transportation can really get in the way for a lot of families to engage in that traditional counseling. So Annie's story is really one of a child that received vital services because of the presence of a mental health professional at school. Okay, so at each site, our mental health team are intentional about spreading the word about our services. Family, staff, or students themselves can refer. We often generate referrals within our COST, SST, and IEP teams. In secondary school, students are screened by school counselors first. In compliance with AB 748, our secondary schools have created posters put it up on campus instructing students how to access mental health support. And we can also receive WeTip referrals.
So all the work that happens on our campuses through our mental health team as part of an integrated student support system is really going to help us now because the state is investing $4.5 billion in the California Youth Behavioral Health Initiative. And the state has really seen that providing mental health services on campuses removes a significant barrier for families for access and helps students in crisis get support much earlier. So there are 4 main work streams, which are up on the screen for CYBHI. SCOE is the regional lead in this work, and they're really a statewide lead on the multi-payer fee schedule, which is going to allow school districts to bill not only Medi-Cal, but private insurance for services provided on site. So we're in the process of learning about this, partnering with SCOE around this work and figuring out how that can help deepen supports for mental health on our campuses. You'll see I also added the community schools logo here. It's part of community school sustainability as well, looking at CYBHI funding for those efforts that we are doing. All right, so Scott and I are incredibly proud of this team. They do amazing work, and many times people think of mental health as being that typical 50-minute hour. Our team makes our campuses mentally healthy every day, and that is largely thanks to the support of our superintendent and our board. Betty Jo has been a huge champion for this work over the years, and we are here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you guys so much, both for the presentation and for all the work that you're doing. So take it out to the board for questions. Yeah, Mr. Reed.
And I just want to thank each and every one of you for what you do. My wife is actually a licensed clinical social worker, works in the community. The services that you do on behalf of the students is absolutely invaluable. And working for public education is very much appreciated. I know that your degrees could take you into a more lucrative opportunities. But your dedication to our students, our invaluable resources of our students, is incredibly appreciated. So thank you.
I have some comments, but we do have a public comment, so I'll wait. But I do have probably just 2 very quick questions, I think. One, Ms. Cesarian, for you, and then one for whoever, I guess, wants to answer it. But on slide 22, you did show some of those resources like community schools, and I know there are a lot of moving parts within mental health right now on our school campuses and the different resources that are going to be plugging into that. I saw on there as well, HCAI's, the Healthcare Access and Information logo. And I know they have this wellness coach position that they're rolling out right now. If you have information on it, is that something that we've looked into or written any grants for to try to?
So Carrie Kay and I are partnering and working with SCOE to look into the wellness coach idea, the idea of somebody with a 2-year or a 4-year degree, possibly not having licensure at the moment, in areas like sociology, psychology, social work, chemical dependency, and how could that complement some of the services that we're offering. When you look at our team, we have a big team, but we have 21,000 students. There is plenty of work to be done. So we are looking into it as an option. And SCOE is really going to be the lead to help us with that. I believe that the SCOE mental health program will probably start piloting some wellness coaches. And we're very interested, especially for our Folsom schools, to be able to deepen the supports possibly through that model.
Great, yeah, well, thank you for that. And I'd be curious to stay updated as you get more information from them around what we're doing. The other question I had was, and it's a tremendous amount of work going on. We saw the referrals and the amount of sessions. So it's maybe 2 questions. One is, do any of our counselors work on during summer school? And then if not, what's generally the process to kind of hand kids off to maybe other counselors or other resources?
Yeah, so we have Joanna and Cynthia. As our MHS2s, and they work through the end of June. And so they help provide support during summer programs for special education youth. And there's lots of handoffs going on right now. We, for the first time, are doing, well, maybe not for the first time, but we are being intentional on our articulation of our kids as they're leaving our elementary schools and going into middle into high school, to make sure that we're passing off care for those students that are going to need continued supports. And we make Care Solace referrals, partner with families to get connected with local community agencies. And sometimes it's really getting families involved in productive summer activities for their kids to help the kids have ways to have outlets for energy. Any other ideas, you guys? Joanna wanted to talk.
Oh, I didn't really want to talk, but I just wanted to say that I've spent mostly the last 2 weeks either making phone calls to parents or meeting with kids who I felt like could use more support during the summer, and connected them with outside resources or activities in the community, helped a couple students try to look for jobs and that sort of thing. So yeah, the last couple weeks leading up are very busy in May, but I'm pretty intentional in the last, 2 weeks before the end of school to make those connections.
Well, thank you for doing that. I know it's incredibly busy right now, I'm sure, with all that's going on there. And I'm glad to hear that Care Solace sounds like is working and has been a good resource for us. So like I said, I have a few more comments, but if there's no more questions, we do have a public comment in person here. So I'm not seeing any from the board. So the public comment, you guys are free to sit or keep hanging out. Either way is good. Andrea Chavez. Welcome.
Hi, hello. I didn't really plan on speaking on this. I didn't know that I was going to see all these beautiful people in green. I came for the NAPAC, but I don't want to cry. I had to take a picture of all of these beautiful people because I really feel like these are like the superheroes of our schools. Some people know and some people don't. I lost a child to suicide 2 years ago. So I just wanted to say, I felt compelled to say that when I seen that we were talking, or you guys had the wellness team here, I wanted to say that I felt that this is like the most important piece of our schools. I tell parents all the time when they come in and they say something about my kids' grades, if they're stressing out about their grades, that their emotional support, their emotional being is way more important. And I've seen since I've only been at Mills Middle School since last year, February, until this year. And I've seen a huge difference from last year to this year and all of the resources and the support that our school has gotten. And I'm super grateful for that. I wish that my daughter's school had that, not just for the students, but also I see the support for the parents. I see parents come in and they're comfortable asking for support. I see the students comfortable asking and also, advocating for each other, advocating for themselves. And I think that that's great. I think that that's important, that we teach our students to advocate for themselves and to be able to speak. And like some of the words that were spoken up there, like to break that stigma, that they're not the only person feeling that way. I just wanted to say thank you to every person here that does this job. I know it's not easy. And I'll just end with my daughter, Olivia. When I would take her to therapy, she would ask me, Mom, where does she put all of that I give to her? Because I know that it's heavy, like it's not just me. So I just wanted to tell each and every one of you to take care of yourselves. That's it. Thank you.
Andrea, thank you for sharing that with us. And Those are good words, both to our staff, but appreciate you letting us in on that story. Couple of comments for me is there's a few things. There were a couple of slides I think that are worth looking at again. I'm sorry. There was no online. Yeah, sorry. I'll try not to soapbox too much here. Slide 9, and then I'll ask you to go to another one is, yeah, I think it's really worth noting. First of all, I'm sure the last few years you all have had just an insane experience. Behaviors are different than they were. The work that you're doing is different than it was, but I also just want to point out, when we look at 2018 and 19, we can't blame COVID on all of this. This was something that's been coming, it's been happening. I'm sure those of you that were working in the schools in that time have seen that as well. COVID's had a huge impact on our kids, but I just really want us to remember that we're dealing with an issue was happening well before COVID, and it's a pandemic of mental health that came before that. COVID certainly just sped this thing up a whole bunch. I think we see the same thing, slide 14, with the risk assessments. I mean, 2018-19, we had the most risk assessments, even compared with the last 2 years. So, you know, thoughts of suicide, behavioral problems, all these things have been skyrocketing. And I know that coming back from COVID, even if the numbers are the same, it feels different. So again, just thank you for the work that you're doing, because our kids have needed this for a long time. And it's kind of amazing to see, if you track back to the beginning of this data, in I think it was, somebody said 15, 16, we had 6 mental health workers. And, you know, look in a room tonight full of social workers and marriage family therapists and other workers. I mean, you're responding to a need that's so important and so big, and just want to really thank you for doing that work. Partly because it's just 2 other quick things. I know that you guys are probably thought of as miracle workers on school campuses, and part of that's not fair at all, because you can't fix every kid that somebody sends to you, and people expect that you can. But part of that is really fair, because you do an amazing job of working with our kids. So, it is miracle work, whether the kids continue to have the behaviors or not. You're doing really important work, and it's much appreciated. And again, I mentioned it before, but and I think Andrew, who just spoke, mentioned it. I hope you do all get a chance to get a little break. I know the end of this year is probably more than anybody should be able to handle. And it's probably not going to get much different in the next week and a half, with students being ready to go home for the summer and behaviors ramping up. So hang in there, and take a deep breath once the school year's over. Hope you can get some time to just relax. But thank you for the presentation, Kate, and Scott. Thanks for all the work you guys are doing on this. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it's really appreciated. Okay, I'm going to move us into discussion item B, first read, Board Policy 5138.8, mobile communication devices. Superintendent.
Yes, we're bringing the policy forward for some revisions before we go into next school year. The revisions in this policy are to reflect more flexibility for our high schools to be able to implement the policy that currently exists for K through 8. And if you look at the first page of the policy, Ms. Dagnall, we added in the red highlight there the verbiage that we reviewed with our policy subcommittee, and then the blue highlight is the next day we met with cabinet and we added some additional language. But the additional language will say, a site principal serving grades 9 through 12 in consultation with site faculty and including student and parent voice may request that the superintendent adopt the grades 6 through 8 mobile communication policy for that site, provided such change shall start at the beginning of a semester. So we thought, before that change goes into effect, we know how important it was to communicate with everybody involved in the middle school policy before we started this school year. We wanted to make sure that we had the voice of our faculty, our teachers, our support staff, and students and parents before we go forward with a change if our principals at the high school level want to implement that change. So we're welcome to take any questions that the board may have, but hopefully we can bring this forward as a consent item at the next meeting so we can get it implemented for next school year.
Any questions from the board?
Yes, Mr. President.
Mr. Clark?
So this is my understanding, and I just want this for clarification. So that would include the comprehensive high schools, correct? Or Vista, Folsom, and Cordova. Is that correct?
Yes, it's all of our high schools, including Kinney High School, Walnut Wood. I mean, it's all of our schools.
Okay, and that's grades 9 through 12. So obviously, we're looking at high school. I'm looking at and including student and parent voice. So how will we measure that? How will that be implemented? Do we reach out to the students or parents, or how does that work?
Yes, 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 and yes. When we implemented this policy as a pilot at Kinney High School this year, that dialogue and interaction happened, and we believe that, the success of the implementation of the policy at the high school level at Kinney High was because of that inclusion of the different voices. Now, we know a comprehensive high school site is going to be much larger, and there are a lot more folks that the principal would need to dialogue with, but we know that that's essential to set this up for success.
Yeah, that's my concern. So how do we dialogue with the students and parents? Obviously this is going to come back. And quite honestly, I don't think it should be a consent item. I think it should be a open public discussion so we can get those students and parents out to talk about this a little more in detail. I don't know. I see the backlash happening. I don't see how we can communicate with students and parent voice. I mean, especially you're talking about beginning of a semester. What semester are we looking at? The beginning of the school year, the second semester? How are we doing this here?
Well, when we say beginning of a semester, that means that our lead-up time would have to be the prior semester to do it properly and to give time to collect that data, either from survey or anecdotally, meeting with advisory committees, meeting with our student groups, our affinity groups. I mean, there's a lot that has to happen. So we know we can't rush into it. So if this was something that one of our high school principals was seriously considering, we would want to make sure that there's enough time for them to gather that data and that feedback, and that would be part of what would be presented to the superintendent to move forward with implementing that change for the following semester. So it builds in that time to build the consensus. We get the feedback, build the consensus for implementation in the following semester, which seemed like a good transition time.
Okay. All right.
I have a couple questions regarding, at our high schools, we use a lot of programs that require cell phones, such as if they're arriving late, if they are going to the restroom. So my concern is that we've spent money and we've implemented and we've gone through the struggles of implementing these things that rely on cell phones to be used to be able to use the restroom. Even to the point where when my daughter didn't have a cell phone at school, she was told she couldn't go to the restroom because she didn't have her phone. And so if this is something we're looking at, we have to also look at the way that they're used, not even just with those things, but there's things that are used in the classroom on a regular basis that help do assessment on the spot to find out where students are at before moving into maybe a summative assessment and things like that. So, and it's built into the curriculum, it's built into the programs that teachers are using on a daily basis. And so if we are looking at this, I was under the impression this was coming back because of our alternative sites using the policy. I was never informed until reading this that it included all comprehensive high schools. So my initial response was yes, because we have our alternative high schools that have implemented the same policy as the middle schools. And that's how I felt that it was delivered to us, that this was going to come back to us on policy so that our alternative sites could implement that policy if needed. And this is very different than what was presented to us the other day. So I do have a lot of concern, and I think that, again, it might be putting things out there that we're not ready or prepared for, because our systems are not set up in a way to take those away from our 9th through 12th at our comprehensive high schools. So.
Yeah, and not to mention, thank you for that, Ms. Lofthouse, but not to mention, when I go on campuses, especially the high school campuses, when you sign up for specific events, clubs, proms, whatever, there's this little thing called a QR code. So how do you, if you don't have your phone, how can you sign up for these things? So that's something that we would really have to look at as far as signing kids up for those programs.
Other questions? A story about that, actually. Recently at Cordova, there was a video played about phone usage. It's separate from this, obviously, but it was about phone usage in general for like next year at Cordova. And at the end of the video, she was like, "Oh, scan this QR code." So my classmates were like, "How are we gonna scan the QR code if we're not supposed to be on our phones?" So I mean, that kind of shows like the irony of the situation of having so many things that you need a phone for, but just to ban phones. And something on your point, I think collaborating with SAB to, like, kind of what we did for the 20-day attendance challenge, make a video for the schools, I guess, describing this policy, what it would mean, and then, I don't know, linking something via QR code at the end of the video just to get the word out. Because, I mean, from what we got the word out about the 20-day attendance challenge pretty well, because the teachers all played it in their class. So I think that would be something worth looking at next year, is collaborating with student voice and, like, here's the pros and the cons of this. You can make your decision from here.
And I think for me, also going back to when we originally passed this for the middle schools, one ask for me was what we were doing to educate on our phone use and what that does for mental health. And knowing that these are not going away, how are we teaching, especially juniors and seniors going off into the world, like, how are we going to teach them and ensure that we are educating them on the implications of phone use, but also how to use it appropriately and it being used as a tool, and I don't believe that has been done in a way to get that message out and continue that education. And so I will follow up with that ask of making sure that that is something that we do. There are fantastic speakers that speak on that specific topic. And so that is something that I think that all of our students should be hearing, starting at elementary school. There's elementary students that have phones, so, and not out at school, but they do have them. And so I think that that is our missing piece. And we can continue to pass policy, but if we're not educating behind the policy, it's not going to do what we want it to do.
So I think, first of all, that this did come up, I think, partly because of Kenny, right? So we if we're not going to adopt this, we certainly need to have it come back to address Kenny, because their policy isn't currently aligning with this. And I agree, if a comprehensive high school principal wanted to do this, and as far as I know, that's not being asked for right now. I don't know if anybody else has heard otherwise. It would certainly be a huge culture change, and there would come with a lot of other changes that would need to happen on the school campuses, like how to sign up for events. I guess I am in favor of this because, to me, this is a way to address the need that we're currently in. And I'm thinking of things like, The Anxious Generation, the book that just came out, that addresses cell phone use and social media, and to know that the harm that that's doing, but then not provide any means to address that seems like we can't do that. I think we all agree with that. There's got to be something, whether it's this policy or not. Personally, I'm in favor of this policy. It's a big swing. It would be a huge swing on a comprehensive high school campus. I would hope no principal would take that swing lightly. And I think that partly that's why there is the language in here around consultation with faculty and students and parent. But I guess I'd rather let a comprehensive high school take a big swing on an issue that, at least personally, and I think both anecdotally and what we're seeing empirically, is that cell phones are harmful to our children and our students, high school included. Well, this provides a means for us to address that. Not a must, but a can. So, I mean, I like it with the language that's in it. If we need to bring it back with changes because there's not consensus around that, we can do that. But personally, I'm in favor of really allowing the high school principals the freedom to go wherever they want with it.
Mr. President? Yeah, I like the way this is worded as well. It gives each site the ability to make a determination site by site rather than the district making a decision for all high schools. And there's a lot of safety measures here to prevent just a rushed decision. First of all, the principal has to come to a determination that he or she wants to pursue something of this nature, and then that principal would have to consult with the faculty and the students, get student input and parent input, and then they have to come to the superintendent. And then the superintendent can weigh in and say, well, have you done this? Let me see how you've communicated with your teachers and your staff. And if for some reason the superintendent doesn't feel it has gone far enough, the superintendent can send the principal back to the site level, say, well, do some more, due diligence, and then come back. So you have that level of protection as well. The superintendent doesn't need to sign off on it if the superintendent doesn't think it would be wise for that school site. So I do think, given the mental health crisis that we're in, the well-documented research studies that have been out for, probably 4 or 5 years now is what they've been publishing these and researching this issue regarding the developing brain, especially adolescents, and what the screens are doing to our students. I think this is a reasonable step. The state of California, back in 2019, passed a law that actually authorizes school districts to go all the way in and ban cell phones from K to 12. We're not doing that here. We're trying to take a more reasoned approach. So ultimately, I'm comfortable with this language. Thank you.
Ms. Larry?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with this, but to Ms. Lofthouse's point, I actually do not like when we have programs that require cell phones of student use, because what if you're a student who can't afford a cell phone? And I am very opposed to that kind of mentality. So if we do have programs that are requiring students to have to require for them to have a phone, we need to really take a look at what those programs are and reevaluate if this is the type of programming that we're gonna have. Because, I can't imagine for a student how embarrassing it would be if you were asked to take out a phone and you don't have one. So I think that, why I'm signing off on this, I think I would also like to request that we look at what some of those other programs that we have that are requiring for us to use cell phones and maybe evaluate if those are the best ways for us to be able to accomplish what we're looking to accomplish. So.
What I'm hearing is it sounds like there's some consensus around the board that this would make sense to move forward. I guess, Superintendent, what I would want to ask is if we come back with this exact language at the next meeting, and I think to Mr. Clark's point, it'd be worth putting it on, not on consent, so that we can have a little bit more of a discussion around it. But maybe if, as it comes back, I don't know that it'd be appropriate in this policy, but some sort of AR might align with this. So I guess I would ask if we could come back with a better sense of what it would look like for a principal to survey their school, their students, parents, so that we can feel comfortable around what that process would look like. Again, I don't know that I would feel like I need to vote on that process, but I think it would be helpful to know what it would look like so we can have some better sense of how long this process would take and what all would be involved.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit vague of what that process looks like. So I think for clarity of the public, if we were to take those steps, what would be required of a principal to go through that? And I think being that transparent with the parents, and maybe requiring what that lead time is going to look like, because you could say before the start of a semester. Well, is that 2 weeks before the start of the semester? Is that 3 months before the start of the semester? And being having a little more clarity on what that runway would look like, so that we can make sure that we're doing our due diligence with the public.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it wouldn't.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, I feel like I have concern with it coming back in June. Like, I think that the timing of this is coincidental, maybe, but I also feel like the timing of this is not appropriate, because if we want to actually get voice, it's not going to happen after school is out. And so I have a problem with it coming back at next meeting for a discussion. I do think that it should be something that we discuss in September, maybe at the beginning of the school year, where SAB can be involved to kind of get some student voice out there. I just don't think that something that would have such an impact on many of our students should come out in June for a discussion. So I do have major concern with the timing of that.
I think that makes sense. At least as I think of it, I certainly wouldn't have any expectation even if we voted on in June that anybody could implement this in the first semester. So I don't see any harm in waiting until that semester starts. I wouldn't anticipate a comprehensive high school principal wanting to even start the second semester, but that at least gives enough runway. So unless there's other objections from the board, that it makes sense to me to bring it back. That second meeting in August or in September. Is that what? Okay.
All right. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'm okay with pushing it off till the start of the school year, but I think I would like to see it in August.
So if we said the second meeting in August, because I'm not even sure if we're back in school by the first meeting.
When does SAB start?
September.
I would err to that for me, but
I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, Mr. Reedy, you see a reason to bring it back in August rather than September?
That's fine. I mean, I just don't want to just keep on kicking something down the road. Sometimes we appear to have that tradition within our district that we don't like to make difficult decisions, and we just keep on pushing it off and off and off. So I just don't want that to happen with this issue. But September is fine. Just that it would be coming back for a discussion action.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we said the first meeting in September, it would come back as discussion action with
that's fine.
With the information around what process a comprehensive or other high school might go through if they wanted to go through this.
It would actually give staff time to develop an AR on it. Mm-hmm. And one of the things the staff might consider with the AR is when we originally adopted this policy in January of 2020?
June 2020,
June of 2020.
and revised it in 23.
Okay, when we adopted in June of 2020, we actually, there was a lot of activity that had happened prior to its adoption. I know Angela had worked with Thought Exchange, I believe it was. And we had meetings. Actually, I think the meetings predated the pandemic. So we were talking about it, I think, in end of 2019, early 2020, and then the policy eventually was adopted, I guess, in June of 2020. But I thought that was a very, very comprehensive process that was done back when this was originally adopted. We did get a tremendous amount of feedback, not only from parents, but also from students. So that might be a model to consider for the AR.
Okay, Superintendent, I think you have enough direction there.
Yes.
Okay, appreciate the discussion from the board. So we'll move on to item 14, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Kaligian.
Thank you. Just broadly thinking about tonight's meeting and the actions of our governance team, I just want to say that thank you, because what I saw is we're upholding district priorities, and two in particular that I want to call out. And one is first and foremost about our students and setting our students up for success. And we had many examples of celebrating student success, but also acknowledging the needs of our students and the whole child, the need for mental health and well-being, and how it's just as important as the academics and the athletics and the music and the arts. And this board's commitment to that, I think you operationalize that with board action tonight. So I want to commend you for that. And I also want to commend you for another priority that you acted upon, which is priority 2, about partnering with our community and our parents and our families. And that was evident in the work that we've been doing alongside our Native American Parent Advisory Committee, but also the continued work we're going to do going forward. So whether we're talking about, the beginning of how we build our curriculum and our supports around our culturally responsive curriculum and implementing Title VI, and the importance of reading the land acknowledgement statement and helping all students understand the importance of what those words mean. There's a lot of work to continue to be done, but again, this board operationalized that priority tonight, and I commend you for that. And in the middle of those 4 priorities, do you remember the word that we have in the middle? It's all about equity, and equity is giving students what they need to be successful. It's differentiating what those needs are, whether we're talking about in the classroom, mental health, seeing yourself, and celebrating the diversity and the identity of all of our students in Folsom, Cordova. So, those are my main comments tonight, but I also want to wish the class of 2024 congratulations, and looking forward to graduation ceremonies next week, promotion ceremonies of our 8th graders. Students have worked so hard in your journey, and you're crossing one of the first finish lines and milestones of your lives. And I'm looking at Matthew, but I'm talking about the class of 2024. I commend all of our students for meeting that milestone in their lives and future successes in their future milestones on their journeys. So with that, thank you.
Thank you. All right, brings us to item 15, board member reports. I'll start with the student board members. Mr. Merrill.
To begin my comments, I'd like to thank everyone who came out for public comment today. I love how students and community members of FCUSD, they come out every board meeting and they, with so much emotion, they advocate for what they want in their community and what is right for them. And it's such a stark difference from earlier board meetings. Earlier in the year, there was barely any public comment. It was very bland, but the second half of the year, it's been full of vibrant, passionate people coming up here and speaking to us. And I just want to thank everyone who did that, because it's very fun to watch and be here and be on this board. And, I feel like I'm making a difference just by listening to them. It's one of the public comments, one of my favorite parts of these board meetings, actually, because of the emotion that is said on that podium. This is not my last board meeting. I'm halfway there. I got another 22 to go. But this year has been one of the most formative of my life, I'd say. Junior year alone, as just in an academic sense, is very, developmental. It develops a lot of skills, prepares you for college and stuff like that. And I feel like I've got the experience now. I mean, I've developed so many skills just being on this board, and that I will use for the rest of my life. And I'm so grateful that I was elected last year, and I'm so much more grateful that I was reelected this year, and I could continue my student advocacy into the 2024-2025 school year. I'd like to thank Matthew. He's been a great co-president of SAB, and I'm very glad to sit next to him every single board meeting, and to, you know, do things outside of board meetings. I'm glad I've made a friend in Matthew. I know we will be keeping in contact later in life. He's gonna be someone I reach out to for, I mean, indefinitely. And I have the board to thank for that. And I'd like also to thank Rocio, because she was the one who was like, Van, you should run for board member. And I mean, look where I am now. So Rocio, if you're out there, thank you very much. I have a final comment. We have finals week next week. We had dead week this week. I know a lot of teachers actually signed their finals during this week. Like, oh, I'll lighten the load for finals week. But then it just turns this week into finals week. So it's been very stressful for every student in high school. And I mean, even in middle school, I know that happened. That also happened in the middle schools. We got 1 week left of the school year. Yeah, just push through this one last week. The class of 2024, it's last week, and then you got college. So, I mean, you got a long ways to go, but you're done with high school. That's about it. Thank you all. Yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Mellinger.
Thank you. As this year comes to a close, I just want to thank, first of all the kind words that I have gotten tonight, not only tonight, but over the past few weeks. You know, as a member of the class of 2024, it feels so surreal, you know, that in about a week I'll be walking across the stage and setting off on my next chapter of my life. So I just want to thank everyone for their support and that they have given me over the past 12 years. I owe it to this district, and I owe it to the educators, faculty, students, peers that have supported me throughout all these times. And I just want to highlight, again, all the efforts that this year's batch of the Student Advisory Board has provided. The presentation basically just condensed all the impact we have done as a district. If I were to actually talk about every single thing that we have done, I could talk for hours about what the SAB does for this district now and in the future. And this could not have been possible without our 3 advisors, Ms. Ambrosini, Dr. Jackson, and Mrs. Holtland, as well as Dr. Pease and Ms. Gregg, and all the other staff members who make SAB possible, because this is something that not all districts have, and it's important to recognize that students play a vital role in guiding the educational equity and transforming representation onto another level. And I once again want to congratulate my friend Van on his re-election, as well as congratulating board member-elect Mia George for her well-run campaign. And I'm very excited to see her in my position next year. I've worked with her in the past, so I'm very confident that SAB will continue to champion student equity. And once again, this is a really historic meeting, as Dr. Kaligian said, to recognize student achievement, but also the progression of equity on this board, because we recognize all the achievements that our students have gone through, whether it be through their academics, their extracurriculars, but also equity in the sense that Native American students are represented, but represented through the land acknowledgement statements. And this is not the last step, it's the first step in a journey that will likely span the next few board meetings, and I hope it continues in the future, because it's something that is worth discussing in this time and place. And then lastly, I want to say, once again, congratulations to the class of 2024. We did it. 10 grueling months of senior year, senioritis, power through. We have finals next week, so after that, it's all done. But I am grateful for this board has provided me with invaluable skills of leadership, advocacy, and representation that I will take beyond my life as I start college in San Diego. And but I'm grateful for everyone's contributions here. And you can catch me next Friday. I will be one of the valedictorian speakers at Vista de Lagos graduation. But thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lofthouse.
Awesome. I have a short report, but I do want to thank and acknowledge the governance team for tonight. I was very much reminded 2 meetings ago why I was on this board and why I came here and why I will continue to fight for all students in this district. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody up here. I think that a lot of education happened between then and now, and that showed. And I hope that as a team, we can continue to grow in that path. And it's always been sitting right here next to us, but I do think that all of us might have a better understanding of what that means and what that looks like and what that sounds like and the actions that are taken because of it. So I want to say thank you, and I look forward to this team continuing this work and doing this together. And lastly, congratulations to the class of 24. I can't wait to see your speech and attend a lot of graduations next week. Good luck on finals, and that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Laird?
Yeah, so this has been a great year. I do want to thank my colleagues for all the continued conversations. You know, we might not always agree, but I always feel like when I leave here, I at least feel like I've had some area of growth and perspective, and I appreciate all their efforts. And wanted to thank, I couldn't agree with Van Moore. I really do appreciate when the public comes out, and in fact, I had emailed a parent or a teacher who actually had sent a comment in, and she said, I actually didn't think that you guys read these comments when we emailed them in, and just want to assure the public that we actually do read those comments. And so I appreciate all the people who come. I appreciate the people who come online. I appreciate the people who email in comments. We do read those, and I appreciate the perspective on those because especially those early comments, it really does set my mind towards what the meeting is going to be and kind of what the public is kind of driving towards. So do appreciate and keep those comments coming in. And just wanted to say again, we have Community Day of Service, and we have 2 FCUSD projects that we'll be working on Saturday. We'll be doing a beautification at Cordova Gardens, which is going to be amazing. And then we're also going to be putting together hygiene kits, about 500 of them for the community schools. So if you're able to, stop on by. We will be doing the hygiene kits at City Hall. So we'll be doing several projects over there. So, but congratulations, class of 2024. Looking forward to next week. And I have my double-sided tape ready to go. And I bought plenty for my colleagues. So thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
Thank you. Since the last meeting, school board meeting, I participated in 3 board-level committees as the board representative, one of the 2 board representatives. The first meeting I participated in was the naming committee on May 1st. The items that were discussed there, or the singular item that was discussed there, was Cordova Gardens and hearing the presentation and of renaming Cordova Gardens the Cordova Gardens Academy of Arts and Sciences. The committee unanimously recommended it to the board, which was approved tonight. The second committee that I participated on was the policy committee meeting on May 6th. That's the committee that the cell phone policy came before. Again, it was discussed, edits were made actually. There were edits that were recommended by staff that the committee agreed to incorporate. And then subsequent to that, the superintendent's leadership team also made some additional edits that came before us tonight. Let's see, the third committee that I participated on behalf of the board was the SFID 3 Advisory Committee, and that was actually today on May 16th. And we went over the slide deck that will be, and gave feedback on the slide deck that will be used at the next SFID 3 Advisory Committee meeting, which is on Monday, May 20th, so next Monday. And with that, I just want to wish the class of 2024 congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Clark?
Thank you, Mr. President. Van and Matt, thank you for your service to SAB and what you have done. for our students, because you were the voice of all 21,000 students. Matt, I'm so proud of you, and I know you'll do great things down at San Diego. Keep in touch with us. Let us know how you're doing. And Van, see you next year. But I know that you'll be around. I know that you'll be active, and I look forward to working with you and SAB in the future. I want to say to this governance team, thank you. There are times when we are debating and outvoting each other, whether it's 3-2, 4-1. That's okay. It's called good governance when that happens. But when we can come together tonight, during this time when we looked at the land acknowledgement and we listened to those parents, we listened to those students, and we took action like a board is supposed to do. So I just want to say thank you for doing what you did and the decision that was made tonight. I look forward to working closely with NAPAC because we still have a lot of work to do. Dr. Peace, I want to thank you for working on this along with NAPAC. I can't wait until we get funded for Title VI to see all the wonderful things that we can do in this district in acknowledgement and honor of our Native Americans. We talked about public comment, and I'll be totally honest and transparent with you. I got a lot of text messages saying that we did not have our opportunity to do our online public comment. That's important. We talked about it a couple of board meetings ago, whether or not we were going to do it or eliminate it. This is one of the reasons why we need to keep it, because we understand that there are some parents that can't get here. There are some parents that are busy working. But if they can take a few minutes to make a public comment, that means the world to them. So hopefully those who missed the public comment, like I got a text from a parent, I was on at 6 o'clock and I waited patiently and I didn't get my turn. I will apologize to you for that. So hopefully next meeting, if there are public comments coming in online, that we hear them and accept those calls in. Congratulations to the class of 2024. I look forward to going to not only the promotional ceremonies, but the graduating ceremonies as well. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. All right, I'm going to jump into my report in just a moment. Before I do that, actually, Mr. Reed, during his public comments, mentioned some of the committees that he's had participated in. So I did want to throw something out to the board. If there aren't any objections, I would like to consider taking this item, board member reports, renaming it board member committee reports. Certainly would leave space for us to give our typical reports, but the reason that we wanted to talk about that is all of us are on several committees, and this board meeting is really the only time we can all hear what's happening in those meetings collectively. So, sometimes there are important things happening on those committees that it would be good for the rest of the board to hear. So that's what I'd like to propose. We change that to board member committee reports, and if you are in a committee and would just ask you to use that time to report on what was going on during that time. And as I said, also use that time to do as we've typically been doing at this time. So any objections from the board about that change? Okay, I'm not hearing any. So Dr. Killian, if we can make that change starting our next board meeting, that would really appreciate that. Mr. Reed, thank you for modeling that for us. I'm going to now not model that and give the rest of my report, which is I did want to just mention a couple of things. Matthew, congrats on being the valedictorian. We know that is a lot of work. You put in a lot of hard work for that. And even more than that, it sounds like you'll be giving the speech, which I know is there were 24 valedictorians, is that right? 25. And how many give a speech? 6 auditioning, okay, for 2 spots. So really incredible honor. I'm excited to hear what you have to say at Vista's graduation. So congratulations. I also just wanted to mention congratulations to all of those students that earned valedictorian and other awards. It's been fun at our high schools seeing some of the scholarships and awards that the students have been earning these last week. So congrats to everybody that's been participating in those. And the last thing I'll mention is, I'd be remiss if I didn't say congratulations to Vista Del Lago's boys track and field team, the San Joaquin Division III section champs, first time since 2016 that's happened. So really impressive. I won't talk about it too long, other than to say they went into the very last race of the night, the 4x400. Edwin, who may or may not have been in that race, and they were down by 8 points and won the race to get 10 points and actually win the entire section. That's a really big deal. We're really proud of them. So several of those runners are running tomorrow night in the Masters event, and hopefully we'll have a few that go on to state. If we do, Dr. Cleggan will be having a conversation, because I know there are probably maybe at least 3 Vista runners who have a really strong chance of making it to state. If they do, that happens to fall on their graduation day. So it may be that we are having a ceremony here on June 4th for any of those students that can't make their graduation. They get to wear their cap and gown to the state meet and get some fun pictures, but hopefully we'll have that opportunity, and we'll talk after this week if we can do that or not. But yeah, just congrats to all those students. And I also did want to mention last thing, it was very fun to have all of our students here that had excelled academically in the academic decathlon, as well as valedictorians and other awards. So thank you for putting that together, and thank you for all of our teachers and staff that put so much work into working with our students in all these different areas. It is much appreciated. All right, that brings us to item 16, advanced planning. Our next board meeting is June 6th. I think I said June 4th board meeting. I keep doing that. The June 6th board meeting is our next one, right back here at the ESC. And then on to item B, 12-month board calendar. It's there for your review, but I did want to make a note about this. Just to bring it, I think the board members got an email today, but also wanted to put it on our radar. We may have to make some changes or look at making some changes to our December board meeting. It's currently scheduled for December 12th. My understanding is that that would be our regular board meeting and our organizational meeting. And we think right now, per the Ed Code, that has to happen, it commences 15 days after the second Friday in December. We would be meeting on the second Thursday in December. So we may have to have that governance meeting after our typically scheduled meeting on the 12th. So just a heads up that we could be switching that to December 17th and canceling the meeting on the 12th. But we'll keep you all updated about that and make sure that we're reading everything correctly. But just keep that on your radar for tonight. And then that moves us to item C, suggested future agenda items. Are there any suggested future agenda items?
I have one.
Yes, Ms. Larrett.
And I know Mr. Clark has brought this up multiple years, but I'm very saddened that I cannot be to the Vista graduation to her Matt's speech, because we've got conflicting graduations. So can we please, 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 I think we could collectively all 5 say that we must change the graduations for next year, whether we switch one to a morning and we change some promotion ceremonies to the afternoon so that we can make it work, or in the middle of the day. But it's not viable for as many, we want to be there to all of them. And it's just not, the schedule's just not working. So if we can really take a good deep dive into what that looks like. And I know that there may be some public backlash a little bit of, this has been a traditional time when we've had it, but I think we really need to look at a hard look. And so I think if we bring it up now so we can get a good runway to that, but having the 2 conflicting is it's hard, because we want to be there to support and we can't because we've got 2 at the same time. So if we could really take a look at that, I'd super appreciate it.
I've been asking for years.
I'm giving you credit for it. I'm giving you
Thank
credit,
you,
and
ma'am.
I'm giving you a leg up on that. So for sure.
Okay, Superintendent, if that's something we can add then to future agenda, any other items?
Yeah, Mr. President?
Ms. Reed?
I'd love for us to request a legal opinion on the issue of land trusts and whether we as a district have the capability of providing FCUSD land that is no longer in use in trust to the Native American community. And if it is currently not allowable under California law, inquire of the legal counsel what change would need to be made in California law for that to be able to happen.
Board members okay with that being added as a future agenda item? Looks like we have consensus around that, Dr. Kaligian. Thank you.
And I have a second one.
Yes.
Can we have a future agenda item on what exactly is the district policy and perhaps more importantly, the state law on the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance? It sounded like there was a gentleman today who said that it is required to be said before the start of every single day. I know that is not happening right now, and since we are tying the land acknowledgement statement to the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to be able to better understand when are we supposed to be reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, because it would obviously impact the recital of the land acknowledgement statement.
Okay. Ms. Reed, if the rest of the board is okay with it, would you be okay with that coming back as an informational item?
Yeah, because if it's a requirement in state law, then it's not really any action that we need to do. It's just a matter of we need to enforce it. So there really isn't an action item for us to do. So information would be fine.
Yeah. Any objections to that? Okay, that could come back as well. Thank you. Any others? All right, then that brings us to item 17, recess closed session if needed. It is not needed, so we're going to jump all the way to item 21, which is adjournment. Unless there's any objection, we will adjourn. Hearing none, we are adjourned.